The college basketball experience preview and picks edition for November 26th on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with that promo code TCESGPN to get a 50% deposit up to $1,000. That is the Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college hoops, college football, and NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And welcome everybody into the college basketball experience preview and picks edition for Tuesday, November the 26th. It is Tuesday already. It's already 2:30 in the morning. What a day in college basketball. Wow. What a start to feast week. We knew it was going to, we always say it's going to be a chaotic day, week, and it always delivers. And it goes beyond our expectations, and it's why this is the best sport on earth. Can't wait to recap it. We will look ahead to Tuesday's action, and if you think Monday's slate was loaded, wait until you see Tuesday's slate when we add Vegas in there to Maui. But first, introductions. I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac tonight over here at the College Experience. And, that beer tastes extra cold tonight, extra good after watching all those games today and having a winning day. And joining me, you guys know him as the host of the College Baseball Experience, whether he is the window banging, drywall hanging, LeBaron driving, not cocktail napkin having Noah Bieniek, a.k.a. Noah B77. What's up, man?
Aloha.
Yeah,
From sunrise to sunset, Maui delivers. Oh my God. It's the exclamation point of Feast Week every single season. It doesn't disappoint ever. This field I think is tremendous, and it delivered us our first top 5 matchup in Maui for the first time in 41 years. I didn't know that going into
Unreal.
it. But, we had 2 18-plus point comebacks. We did see one blowout, unfortunately, and I was on the wrong end of that.
It would have been nice free game.
I have a 30-1 outright that is alive and well, Mac. Let's fucking go.
You're gonna jinx it. You're gonna jinx it, and Dad is gonna fucking ruin it for you here if you don't get too humble here. But yeah, man, let's recap the action because it started in Daytona Beach with Radford and Chicago State. I will hand off the reins to you. We'll go chronologically in order, and just everybody's asking. Yes, Colby could not do a 4th show in a row tonight. But he's also hiding because his Long Island Sharks suck again. So that's the real reason he's not here.
Yeah. You lost by the hook again to start the day. Chicago State 14.5. They lose by 15.
Oh my Radford. God. This is the worst beat of the season. Chicago State was down 13 with 5 seconds left and fouled on the inbound. Like they had a 13-point play in their fucking in their bag. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a team foul on purpose down 13 with less than 10 seconds to go. So, wow. I knew it was going to be a good day after that though, because when you get the bad karma, the bad beats out of the way the first game, it's usually a good day for me. So I was pissed for about 10 seconds, but then I looked at the rest of the board and I saw it breaking my way. But yeah, if you've tailed us on Chicago State, brutal, absolutely brutal. I got nothing else to add.
I was not on the Chicago State train there. I wasn't awake either, for what it's worth. I woke up for transparency during the first half of Memphis UConn today. So that was how late I woke up today.
That was like the 9th game of the day. What were you doing?
Up till like 5 a.m. getting the picks short, the TC trims out there, the picks only videos out there. So yeah, that one unfortunately did not go your way, but you won a lock battle right next to it during the same time window, basically, as Miami, Ohio wins 70-58 over Siena.
Yeah, Siena's finally like come back down to earth a little bit, and worried that LIU, when we get to them, I think some of these teams that have popped up early, it's been cute for the first 5 games, but Siena kind of Miami of Ohio controlled the game. And shout out to Travis Steele, friend of the program, career win number 100.
There we go. Hampton wins 64-59 over Duquesne. Duquesne sucks.
Duquesne is god awful. They blew this game. They led pretty much the entire way until the last 4 minutes. Give Ivan Thomas and Hampton credit. Grind it out. Get a big win there.
Yeah, they get a date with High Point next. So
yeah,
that should be interesting. Hampton playing really good ball right now. High Point not so much. We'll talk about them in a little bit. UMBC wins by 18 against Howard. So the dog just absolutely stomps the favorite in this spot, and you locked it up with the Retrievers.
And I should have said this last night on the show. We got to bring back the system. 12 o'clock, home teams with the kids in the stands. That place had a good little crowd to it. That place was jumping a little bit, and they just beat the shit out of Howard. Finally, UMBC gets over the finish line with the home win.
Yeah, it's the elementary school symbol.
Do it for the kids.
The elementary crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the field trip crowd, I should say. Ball State also with an outright win over Eastern Kentucky as the Cards. 63-61 victory covers the 3.5-point line that you had locked.
Yeah, stinky. The stinky line, the Courtney Love game. So this is a hell of a game for anybody that missed this. Back and forth. Eastern Kentucky goes up about 4, I think, with a minute left, and Ball State finishes the game on a 6-0 run. So kind of your stomach drops a little bit if you're Eastern Kentucky because you gave that one away in the last minute.
Yeah, that's tough. 100%. And Purdue Fort Wayne cashes a double lock from last night's show for you and Colby as they win 87-81 over Drexel.
Yeah, they were asleep at the wheel. I don't know if they were looking ahead to Radford or whatever with the championship on deck tomorrow, but I would say Drexel was up, I think, 14 or 15 in the first half, but a strong second half from Fort Wayne. So we get the Radford Duquesne championship game tomorrow.
Mercer wins 90-89 in a thriller against Jacksonville. Did you catch any of this?
I caught the ending. Jacksonville blew a double-digit lead, so Courtney Love was alive and well in the early afternoon. Ball State winning, UMBC winning, Mercer winning outright against red hot Jacksonville off the bye game win. So yeah, if you dove into the stink, you got your ass kicked early.
This was not stink. It could have been. It had Boise State won by like 25. But this line made absolutely no sense from the get-go. Yeah. South Dakota State was catching double digits, and they threatened to win this game against the Broncos today.
I'm so glad I didn't get cute on this game. It just I was like, dude, I love my Jackrabbits, and I said it last night. They're blowout proof. They play too much together. Yeah, they're not the most athletic team in the world, but we saw it against McNeese. They have a culture. They have a system. They're well coached under Eric Henderson. Good win for Boise. That's a hard game playing those Jackrabbits. And I'd love to see that game on the schedule every year, to be honest. They should start a home and home with the regionality of those two teams, with Idaho and South Dakota being somewhat near each other and good program.
Yeah, that was a triple lock. And now we get to the double lock that may have been the luckiest cash this season. That's a quote from Mac in our text group chain today. Again, I was not awake to see how lucky under my shoe, the horseshoe under my ass was. But UAB was one of my 3 best bets last night.
Oh,
holy shit. It cashed.
They were losing. They were losing. They were reverse getting covered with 8 minutes left or 10 minutes left in the game. I don't know how the fuck they covered the game. Louisiana, complete collapse. They gave up 41 points over the last 11 minutes. Unbelievable is what I'll say just to that.
You get hooked, it seems like, way more than I do, or at least to begin the season. I'll knock on wood here, but you don't apologize for these kind of covers. You just don't.
Don't worry.
They go both ways.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it goes against me more. Get to Southern Illinois. That fucking game. Jesus Christ.
No, I'd prefer to talk about the one that I woke up during.
You woke up sad and happy going, oh, yeah, UAB covered. You didn't even know they were fucking down 10 with 10 minutes left. And I'm over 100%. There fucking UAB, they suck ass. And then I was like, wow, I cannot believe Louisiana just blew that. So
I benedicted from my preseason Dayton moneyline call and chose to go with Memphis. And I picked them to win the entire tournament, too, on a long shot bet. And they take down UConn. They controlled this entire game, in my opinion. From the moment I woke up in the middle of the first half, throughout, I thought that the interior defense from UConn would rear its ugly head, and it did. All Memphis did is just play NBA-style basketball, and it worked. They go ISO, they drive on you, and they make you foul. Hurley didn't like the refs, but that was the exact handicap here. That was what they were going to do. That's Memphis basketball. In my opinion, he goes into the press conference and complains about the refs. My opinion, schedule better in the non-conference before your MTE and your team's prepped and ready to go for this kind of physical matchup down low. You know your your one weakness, and you should be able to at least combat it a little bit better. In my opinion, they didn't learn until overtime, and Memphis had PJ Haggerty already fouled out of the game. It affected both sides. Memphis played overtime without their best player the entire overtime, So I guess go to analysis first, and then we could talk about Hurley and the foul call in overtime after.
Well, I know why he scheduled soft to start, because they're not very good right now.
No,
I mean, that's why I joked on the pregame show. I said Memphis getting 9 points was like a gift. That was like a line of last year's UConn team that was blowing the doors off everybody. This UConn team sucks right now. They're gonna be good when they play more with one another. They don't have Castle. They don't have Klingon. They don't have Sonogo. They don't have Tristan Newton. They don't have Andre Jackson. They have Caravan, and then a bunch of guys that are still trying to find their identity. So, yes, Dan Hurley, one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the game. He'll figure it out. They'll win 25 plus. But this version of UConn is closer to the one that lost to New Mexico State than either of these national championship teams.
That's a good pull, too, because this was 2022 Dan Hurley today. He got a technical foul in a very meaningful moment, kind of like what happened before. He kind of was a little bit restrained and had really, really good teams. I think the two things correlate here. In the biggest moment of the game, or one of them, the freshman, the McNeely, not Mahaney, McNeely.
He's going to be good, by the way. He's good.
So like do you think this was an over the back fault? He high points it for what Hurley says, but he goes over the back, in my opinion.
I think Hurley knew it was going to be a hard game. Hurley thought he could punk thought he was going to punk the refs today, and he thought that maybe he could like will his team to a victory doing it that way. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not the first time he's gotten a tech with 30 seconds. You remember the Xavier game on the road 2 years ago?
He's done this a handful of times. It costs his teams in big moments. It's crazy.
He's a fucking nut job. I love him.
Kamani Young stands in front of him, hands out, and Hurley shoves him and then goes in and gets the tech. It's like just in my opinion,
he's great.
That cost them the game because there was already a normal foul, but then the technical foul. So there was 4 free throws. Memphis stepped up to the line and drilled all 4 of them, and they lose by 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, and quite frankly, it was a miracle that they got it to overtime. Memphis completely shut down their leg.
It was like 14-4, our final 2-minute run.
Yeah, and that kind of just shows how good UConn's culture is, that they can, like, they're out. They don't have the dudes to compare or compete with Memphis right now, and they're younger than them, and they still almost found a way to win. So, if you're a UConn fan, I mean, you're not. I guess you would panic if you thought you were going 40-0 for whatever reason. I know everybody in the chat last night said you can't go against UConn. I'm going to bet against UConn almost every game till about February, just because of the UConn name from last year.
You were doing that last year too. Who you?
No, I did it the last 4 games because they were laying ridiculous numbers, but it's caught up. They haven't covered in like 3 or 4 games this year, and they're getting too much credit right now for guys that aren't in the program. It's basically a new free agency team. Hurley will get them better by January and February, but they're going to take probably another loss in Maui and then probably another loss or 2 in the non-con. And then in the Big East, it's going to be a battle. Remember, this was a team that also finished 4th in the Big East just 2 years ago. So last year was kind of just a complete special year with all those guys back. And the stars were aligned.
Yeah, hell of a shot by Solo Ball to force overtime in that one. IU Indy wins outright in Birmingham over Alabama A&M, 88-83. Both you and Colby were on the right side there. I was on the Bulldogs. Speaking of the Bulldogs, let's talk about your Southern Illinois bad beat. 85-79, Louisiana Tech beats Southern Illinois. The Salukis.
Ridiculous.
Kind of playing for the win still at the end of this game.
Oh my God. So I went 7-3 in the afternoon games, and 2 of my losses were Southern Illinois by a hook and Chicago State, which I already talked about by a hook. They fucking called a foul with 0.4 left when they were down by 4. After they led the entire game, by the way. They had a 10-point lead with 8 minutes to go. Bullshit. If you had Louisiana Tech, good for you. I wouldn't tout that win because you were not on the right side and it's bad karma. I believe in that. But congratulations on your bullshit cover.
You don't
say anything. You just go, I got lucky, move on to the next one.
It's insane to me that that they still fouled in that spot. But I'll take it. I was on the La Tech side. I didn't bet this.
So ridiculous.
But there was another one that I kind of lucked into that we'll talk about later on in the show. You want to know what else you can get lucky on? Underdog Fantasy. Yes, because their pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all of sports: NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, and so much more. You can now use specials and boosts in all flexed entries. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick, plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And we're back here on the College Basketball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. Oh, the next game that we're going to talk about here is Penn State rolling against Fordham, 85-66. This was pretty much no competition until the final couple of minutes where Fordham attempted to backdoor this thing during a live pregame show, right?
Yeah, Fordham fucking missed like 4 free throws down the stretch. This was annoying. I felt like this had a shot, but Penn State's playing good ball. They're playing good ball. I'm looking
Yes,
forward to
they are.
seeing them in Clemson tomorrow.
100%. Choking a little bit here. Denver gets drilled away from home once again. 89-60 loss to Northridge. All right, let's talk about what were you going to say?
I said Denver sucks. I get a kick out of you lighting up to talk about Denver. They're terrible when they're not at home.
I was going to zoom through this game. I was not lighting up at all.
That's all I got. They suck.
They just notice that Denver's playing at home and be weary of that. When they're on the road, don't be afraid to bet against them at all. They just don't have a pulse. Yeah. And Brandon talking about without Tommy Bruner, who's the nation's leading scorer. Last year with them, they were still ass. So they finished like 7th in this conference last year with them. So I don't know. Denver's just broken on the road. 2 years ago, they were just, I don't know, a team that was a sum of all of it. The sum was greater than all of its parts. And it allowed him to finish like 4th in the Summit League. And I don't know, it was one of my darlings of the year, and Colby has stapled me to that ever since. So, yeah. Let's talk about game 2 in Maui, because this was, a nothing burger. Michigan State blew out Colorado, and they struggled to make a 3 on these soft-ass rims. So, Colorado just seems to be that bad this year.
I don't know what to make of it, because Colorado struggled to make shots. I thought that's kind of been their strength. And I've been impressed.
I think State's defense is pretty legit. Like they're always going to come into the gym and make you earn some baskets. And Colorado just wasn't able to play that type of game.
I was getting ready to say that, Noah. I think my takeaway is impressed with Sparty, because they couldn't make a shot against Kansas, and they hung in there as well. And then tonight they didn't make a shot, and they still were able to pull away from Colorado. So they suck in the bye games recently, but when they've stepped up against high major competition, they've met the challenge, and now they got a date with Memphis. I mean, that's an intriguing matchup. Just with the physicality.
In my opinion, it's winnable. It is winnable.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. It's Izzo versus Penny. I mean, on 24 hours rest is absolutely winnable. And I mean, it's going to be a toss up, in my opinion.
Yeah, we can't wait to pick it, because we'll be talking about that at the end of the show. But MSU 2 for 21 from deep. They didn't need it, but certainly alarming. And why are you taking 21 threes when you came into this game shooting like 26% from deep? I don't know. Know your identity. Like that's the biggest thing I think for this team, is like they're good at what they're good at, but they still haven't accepted that they can't shoot, and for the record, Jace Richardson off the bench looks like the Energizer Bunny for them. Every time he jumps in, it looks like the offense is, even better than when Jeremy Fears is leading it. So, interesting developments in East Lansing, technically in Maui right now. But yeah. Okay, what's going on with High Point?
Oh, they suck today. They were asleep at the wheel. Wow. They barely got out of there alive. They might be on auto fade if they're laying double digits. Although they're laying double digits again tomorrow, everybody.
Yes. And it's against Hampton, and Hampton's been playing good ball, like I mentioned. High Point, 73-67 win over Old Dominion. And Old Dominion's gotten rocked in a couple of the games that they've played so far. So, yeah. Kansas State, no sweat against Longwood. They win this by 16. This lead, I think, was a little bit larger when I score checked it. Kansas State -8.5 covers. That was a lock battle last night on the show. Colby had the Lancers. You, my friend, were on the Wildcats. They win 80-64.
I think they actually made some strides over these 3 days. I mean, I think Hawkins is playing a little bit better. He better play better. He's getting paid to play better.
Yeah.
But I think they did make some strides this weekend. So
did they make some strides, or are they playing my guy Doug more? He played 29 minutes tonight. He played 30
his dumb
minutes
ass
yesterday.
is always in the doghouse.
I know. I don't get it, but still, like, start him. He's a difference maker. There's something wrong up here. There really is, but he's a winning basketball player is what I'm trying to say.
Is he?
Yes.
I got my questions about Doug. I don't know how much he loves the game, but hey, still a lot of game to be played.
If he's not scoring, he can dish it. That's my takeaway.
Can he guard anybody?
Well, he's a little guy.
Then he better be a bad motherfucker on offense if he doesn't guard anybody.
And for what it's worth, he had 6
turnovers. Better be Marquise Noel.
For what it's worth, he had 6 turnovers today, but he had double digits in the box score points wise, and yeah, I just think he does a little bit of everything on offense, and that is what they need, because they've just been lacking a little bit. So Merrimack kept this thing close, which is what I said they were gonna do. You bet it with Colby. You guys double locked this, but I wasn't bold enough to go against Lowell here on the road. But kudos to you guys for going in. This one covers by a point and a half, as Lowell wins 81-74.
Yeah, they led for about 30 plus minutes, and I thought we were gonna have a dog sell out with the foul game at the end. It was trending on a bad beat. I was like, oh my God, not after Southern Illinois. I can't take another one of these. So Merrimack competes. Good win for Lowell. That was just a good basketball game. I like both those teams.
All right, let's talk about our leagues. Let's talk about our log battle from yesterday. Michigan 75, Virginia Tech 63. Once again, Michigan starts slow, just sloppy. I don't know what to explain it, but like the first 8 minutes of the last 4 games now, it's been like turnover haven. They've like turned the ball over like 6 times, 4 times, 5 times, however many times in all 4 of these games early on. And then they turn it on and they win the back 30 minutes of the basketball game by 25. I don't know what it is, but that's my basketball team right now. But I'm absolutely loving that they seem to be pulling away when it matters most. And Virginia Tech, in my opinion, you're coming off the loss against Jacksonville. You're going to be going hard like a hobo in a ham sandwich or whatever.
Desperate spot.
I thought it was a great win for Michigan. I thought to get the cover was great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're a Michigan fan, you're happy. I talked about it with my whole angle with Virginia Tech. It was the Seton Hall angle where you took a bye-game loss. You're coming in back against the wall in the foxhole. I'm pissed I didn't get the cover. I mean, they were up double digits, and they had a lead at one point in the second half.
First 10 minutes, they were controlling this game.
But hey, I mean, Virginia Tech, they played perfect for the first, like you said, 10, 15 minutes, but then they ran out of gas. They don't have enough dudes. And Mike Young's a good coach. I know it hasn't really worked out in Blacksburg, but what he did at Wofford, I mean, they were always good, and they've been shit ever since he left. They just don't have the dudes on that roster to win at that level. They couldn't make a shot the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing about Michigan. Nice to see Roddy Gale build a little bit momentum for this season. He'd been struggling a little bit versus my expectations anyway coming into the year. Clemson, a very, very surprising blowout win against San Francisco, 70-55 here.
Yeah, after San Fran was up like 10 in the first half, it kind of felt like the Memphis game. San Fran, shout out to them for blowing out another second half lead. Good win for Clemson, though. Like you said, they battled back, and they get to the title game. Them and Penn State's going to be a nice little date here tomorrow night in where's that, Daytona?
Yes.
That's going to be a good game. That's a good game because Clemson's played probably the harder schedule of the two. Penn State obviously undefeated.
Yep. Yeah, I will say, coming into the day, even Memphis, we'll talk about others, like the battle-tested team won and, made statements in some big games tonight. So, yeah, we'll talk about that more in tomorrow, some angles for tomorrow. Unfortunately, a triple lock with Long Island fell flat on its face.
We fell for it. We fell for that sprinkle dust. They suck again.
We suck again.
They lose by 30. They've had a pretty good year, though. I mean, they got two big dog outright wins. So
it was a 22-point loss, but
can't kill
them. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Winthrop, coming into the year, I liked the continuity that the Eagles had. They had also one of these teams that had some early struggles after, coming in with some higher expectations in their own conference. And the Big South had been rolling in the non-con, and Winthrop, was just kind of cruising along with, just losses to Virginia Tech, Georgia Southern, and Louisville there. But they've taken care of business against teams that they should beat. I think that's the biggest takeaway that you can have for the Eagles there. Chattanooga, 85, Tennessee State, 78. The Tigers cover a 9.5-point spread. Unfortunately, you were on the Chattanooga side here.
Yeah, Chattanooga's been pissing me off. They had their chances to cover. They're a very inconsistent basketball team, is what I would say about Chattanooga.
Yeah, I mean, I still find it very tough, and I don't know. I think everybody gets the point now, like that they listen to us, but still missing your starting front court is an impact, and I'm not sure I'm ready to like fully judge this team yet because I think they have the best backcourt in that conference. Download the SGPN app. In honor of Thanksgiving, we're running a massive merch sale Thursday through Sunday this week. Everything is 25% off with the promo code Black Friday, all one word, all caps. That's right, 25% off everything, including Mac's hat that he has on. But anything in the Dundeeisms line on the college experience or any funny phrase that we've used or the Sports Gambling Podcast has used, there's some type of merch around it, or there will be out there soon. So all one word, all caps, Black Friday, 25% off starting Thursday through Sunday this weekend. 25% off the sportsgamblingpodcast.com store. And we're back here on the College Basketball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, alongside Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. And Mac, we had an interesting triple lock here last night on Iona that, these triple locks, when they cash, they're fun. We've got a pretty good record on them, but when they lose, it's not sexy. It's usually a big old black eye.
My God, that was awful. They sucked tonight. They got destroyed. It never was close.
Yeah, I don't know. They were just I've used this word a couple of times in the last couple of shows, non-competitive in that one. Big lead early and, never really mounted anything threatening in a comeback. Holy shit, Columbia is the best team on planet Earth.
Yeah, UConn can't cover anymore, so Columbia is the new UConn. Unreal.
83-57 victory over New Hampshire. I was on Columbia last night's big show.
Yeah, you fucking eat that chalk.
Do not jump on the tracks when the Columbian train's rolling through. Your Lions look good, dude, and you faded them.
Well, I mean, they're laying 17. They've never laid 17 before, ever.
That should have been telling. You should have this is obvious. This is like one of your favorite angles. you're like, there's a stomp coming, the stomp spot.
Yeah, this shit was awful.
Yeah, New Hampshire. It looks like one of those teams that might be a full fade in the non-conference here. Buffalo also was a little stumping, 82-81 victory. I was expecting A&T to win this game. I thought the wrong team was favored here, but Buffalo gets the 1 point victory over the Aggies.
Yeah, they pissed this game away. They were up 3 or 4 at the under 4. Then they fouled the Buffalo kid with like 6 seconds, missed a buzzer beater, game over.
Okay, Ohio State pulls away from another one of these mid-majors. I've got nothing.
Did you see this game?
No, no. Did you see all the games that were taking place today?
Man.
Was I going to watch Ohio State? Hell no.
Yeah, Gottlieb fucking sold out at the end. It was like a 13-point game with 8 minutes left, and they lost by like 40. I don't even know how that was possible. They didn't score for like the last 8 minutes, and Ohio State just kept running it up.
That's what Ohio State does to you. I don't know if you saw the fake QB Neal touchdown against Indiana the other day, but they just run it up late.
Well, I will say Cignetti's been doing the same shit to inferior opponents all year, so I didn't really feel bad for Indiana, but Ryan Day, he is what he is. He ain't ever gonna win the big one.
Yeah, sure. I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because it was Ohio State, and they're like that. That's their culture. Stonehill 67-65 victory over Commerce, but your +3 lock on Commerce comes through.
Yeah, they fucking choked. Them and A&T completely gave away games. They were up 2. They give up a tie, or they were up 4 with like a minute left. They give up, they tie it up. Then they get the inbound stolen and foul the guy, and then Stonehill wins with 2 free throws at the buzzer, basically. So, yeah, wow, Commerce and A&T completely choking road wins that would have been game ball worthy.
Mac, this seems like a question for you. Josh Casala says, I have a major situation. The whiskey's getting low and 7-Eleven might be closed. Do I go beers or open my good bottle for Thanksgiving? Are
you asking about tonight or Thanksgiving?
I think he's talking about tonight because 7-Eleven is closed.
Yeah, just hammer out some beers tonight. You'll be all right. And then holidays will be here before you know it. And then you don't want to shoot your load too early. You got to save some stamina. Feast week is still young.
Yeah. Josh says right now, LOL.
Yeah, have a couple beers. Have a couple beers. You'll have more pop in your step tomorrow. Then you can hit the whiskey tomorrow night. Headed into Thanksgiving.
Yeah, let's go.
Wednesday night's the drunk night. Everybody's supposed to get fucked up on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God.
The biggest bar night of the year, right?
I've had a couple Thanksgiving Eves where I don't even know where I woke up the next day in West Virginia. There were a couple dust ups leading to Thanksgiving because I was always on the road.
You might be seeing Noah Bieniek post biggest bar night of the year Wednesday night for a Thursday show.
Oh yeah.
Because the Thursday slate's great for college basketball. So we will be here. We've got I think it's like 20-ish games. Arkansas, Illinois, BYU, Ole Miss, Purdue, NC State, Final Four rematch, Arizona State, New Mexico. We will be here Wednesday night going into Thursday, and we will be here after Thursday going into Friday as well. We don't take any of these days off. I'll make it up during Christmas, and I'll do my solo shows for you guys. Don't worry.
The words at the end of the show may not be the most precise by the end, but we'll be here.
Yes, sir.
A couple drinks have never slowed me down from being on the show. It's just if it's the concise sentences that are coming out of my mouth. So yeah, I will be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll be here every night this week. No days off for me.
Yeah, Colby will be back. The only reason why he took today off was because he didn't want to do a quadruple header. Call him soft. The East Coast time zone.
Long Island lost.
Sure.
He's taking it tough right now.
he's watching for what it's worth. I'm sure he's watching right now. It's not too late yet. He might be jumping into the stream to tell us to fuck off in a second. But let's
passed out. It's 3:00.
Let's talk about the Mexicans abusing Dolphins 97-77.
These fucking Mexicans are rolling. I mean, they're playing good basketball this year. Khalil's doing a good job down there.
Yeah. Hunter Vic says, you know damn well he's sleeping. No, he's cleaning up after the dogs. And Clark said he's watching Forensic Files, which is definitely the answer. He's watching that over us, 100%. Tell soft Colby to get a blue chew and man up.
There you go.
Yeah, Mexicans looking impressive as always. Max, did you catch any of Boston College, Missouri State? I missed.
Score watch
me. Feast Week beat me. I totally missed this game because I wanted to monitor this at least, maybe even have it on because of the Michigan State Colorado blowout.
So full transparency, right after the pregame show, I had to make the hour 30 up drive from Richmond up to Northern Virginia because that's where I'm staying this week for Thanksgiving. So I'm at my wife's parents' house. So I'm in the washing machine room. I got a fridge right here, so just laying out the scene for everybody.
So everybody take your unders on the Max cocktail napkin or cocktail.
No, you gave it away. But
you said fridge is right here. You gave it away.
So I left at about 7:45, 8 o'clock, so I would be up here for Iowa State Auburn. I wanted to make sure I would be locked in and for that whole game. So
that was a great decision.
Yeah, and I missed this game. I was watching the score on my phone the entire way, but I had Liberty and McNeese on the car overhead, so I did miss this game. But BC hit a 3 just looking at like the play-by-play, and they forced overtime. Then they hit a game winner 3. So Missouri State covers. I'll take that. But I mean, Missouri State's looking good, man. Missouri State, Kwanzaa Martin's doing a good job, in my opinion.
Yeah, everybody's talking about the cocktail run line that's going to maybe be coming out. But unfortunately, I think Rob's passed out. He's got work tomorrow. He's not in the YouTube chat. So
this is what I'm working with, everybody.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at that background. There's a mop right there.
A little broom action here. Hopefully I can sweep the board tomorrow. Yeah. Fridge right there. Got the washing machine right here. Got a little bit of everything.
Max experience. He used to be a mop boy, right? For the courts.
No, that was my first job as a freshman. I stocked the fridges and what else did I do? I did the
shout out to those guys. I ran into one. I forget his name now because it was a full year ago, and we haven't interacted with him. But at the Duquesne game, he ran up to me all of a sudden. And he was like, "Yo, I listen to you guys every day," and he was working the mop. It was great.
Good. Oh yeah, dude, everybody's got to start somewhere. I used to be the fridge guy, mop guy, trash, all that shit. You got to start somewhere, work your way up.
I mean, that's an easy way to get into Hug's inside circle. Work his fridge. Understand how he wants the fridge.
Oh, the fridge has always got to be loaded now.
At Family Thanksgiving, are you the fridge guy? You know how it should be professionally set up?
Yeah, I monitor the fridge. I don't cook. I'm a shitty cook. My wife's a really good cook, and her family is big-time cooks. And then
sounds like it was a nice free agent acquisition by you.
Oh, it's beautiful. We got football and basketball on. I'll make sure the fridge is stocked, and I'll take out the trash, and I ain't cooking. I'm not into that shit. I can cook. It's just going to be shit food, and I don't think anybody wants that. So you got to stick to your strengths, and you got to avoid your weaknesses. So yeah, that's where I delegate. I delegate the cooking responsibilities.
I can cook. That's not high on my list as I continue to assess the free agency market. So yeah. Back to the recap. Montana 69, Dixie State 66. The Trailblazers get a cover.
They did get a cover. How about that? I don't really have much analysis on this one. Like I said, I was driving, so I did not get eyes on this.
All right. Troy, 86-72 over UTSA. This dispelled a double lock here.
Yeah, probably too cute a lock here. Good win for Troy. They took care of business.
Brandon says Noah can boil water. Hell yeah.
There you go.
That's the first step in becoming a trick cook, boil some water, make some popcorn. How else did it go for me? I don't know. It was mac and cheese was early for me, and rice. Rice is like a college staple. You can't be a good cook if you don't know how to make rice. So, yeah. North Texas 58-55 win over Oregon State. But Oregon State gets the cover. I still think that this is a great win for the Mean Green to get the Beavs to come into your home place. In itself is a nice accomplishment. Now, I don't know if they handed out a check or anything like that to get the Beavers to head to the Super Pit, but the Mean Green get a good W that might age well this season. We'll see how good the Beavers can keep this thing going.
I was going to say, no, Oregon State's not as bad as we made them out to be in the preseason. Looking at what they did the last couple games, they competed. This is a horrible spot. This is a horrible spot tonight for them. Coming off the Oregon game, Heartbreak City, the Civil War, and they went over to North Texas, who's really good at home, and they led for a little bit in the second half. Actually, probably most of the second half. But give North Texas credit; they hit a game winner at the end. Good team. I mean, they had a good culture.
I've been on the Oregon State train here. They've blown out everybody that they needed to blow out. They kept it close against Oregon. Yeah, 100%. Anime. I'm not an anime guy, unfortunately, Abner. So asking what my favorite anime is. I don't think Mac is anime either, are you? No, unfortunately not. I just watch sports. That's why I'm perfect for this job. I don't play too much video games. I don't watch movies. I don't waste my time in front of the TV other than college basketball this time of the year. So Travis Justice saying Noah got a waterbed. Aren't those out of style? Like way out of style, right? Microwave was a great invention. So that's what they're saying in the YouTube chat. YouTube chat's rolling tonight at 3:15 a.m.
It's on fire.
South Alabama 84-63 victory over Incarnate Word.
Should have bet this, man. I don't know why I didn't. Incarnate Word's terrible.
So is the 109-35 victory an indictment of Maryland Eastern Shore or a statement from Arkansas? What pick your side of this battle? Are you impressed or disappointed?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. Fucking Maryland Eastern Shore should cancel their basketball program. That's fuck Calipari for winning by that much too.
Dude, it was 100-22 at one point.
Yeah. I mean, good for you, Cal. Way to go. Rah, 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 kick him in the knee. You won by 80 against a shit team.
Illinois is next on Thanksgiving. We'll see how
for Arkansas.
Go. I think so. I think they have Illinois.
They both played the dynasty of Maryland Eastern Shore last two games.
Tuck job? What's the tuck job say here?
Should be close. They both just won by 1,000.
Arkansas -20 because they beat them by 70 more points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brandon, what an embarrassing loss. I agree. Even if there is a little bit of a talent gap, this is rough. Nobody should lose by 70 points in a basketball game. Yep. Let's talk about Southern Indiana winning outright at home against Indiana State, cashing a triple lock for us. We didn't need the points. They win by 10.
Dude, wire to wire. They never trailed. It was by far the better team tonight. Indiana State, another team that's still living off of last year with some of these spreads. Fade them until they fix some of these lines, in my opinion. And Screaming Eagles, that was, I think, my second favorite play of the night, and they got across the finish line for me. So easy.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Central Michigan almost wins outright in the Barn, the most overrated basketball arena in the country.
Minnesota can't blow teams out this year like they were last year.
Minnesota just wins 68-65.
Yeah.
This was a barn burner the entire way through. No pun intended, but I'll take the credit if you want to give it to me. Chips just continue to be impressive in these get up spots. That's all I got to say.
I agree.
When they play somebody of their caliber, they get blown out. But when they're taking a step up in competition, they're all right.
Yep.
And maybe the shittiest game of the night, Eastern Michigan wins 74-73 at Houston Christian.
They won a locked battle.
I call it the shittiest game because just advertised, two shit teams programs, but the game delivered. I mean,
the game was great. Eastern Michigan was up 15 and almost lost the whole lead.
It would have been perfect.
We need to what's it called? We need Colby's analysis on this because I know he's fucking hurting.
So there was an absolute, great game that happened earlier today, kind of right in the middle of the two Maui games. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty wins against McNeese 62-58. And they kind of held. They had McNeese at a stiff arm for most of this one. McNeese fought back in I would say the middle 10 minutes of this game, the final 5 minutes of the half, first half, the first 5 minutes of the second half. I thought Will Wade, had made some good adjustments or whatever. That was the point of the game where McNeese looked best. But the outer 30 minutes, I thought Liberty was the better team tonight.
Yeah, I thought they controlled the pace. And my whole reason for taking McNeese, and I know you agreed with me, is I thought McNeese could speed him up on the third game and third days, and they did the last 4 minutes. Liberty is lucky that game wasn't 2 or 3 more minutes because the wheels were starting to fall off at the end when the fouls were mounting, and the athletes of McNeese were finally wearing them down. Who was it? Was it Copeland or McMurray? He missed a free throw. They had a free throw down one with 10 seconds, front end of the 1-and-1, and he missed it. So McNeese is going to kick themselves that they came all the way back, had 2 free throws to win the game, and came out on the wrong end of it. But I agree with you that Liberty was the better team tonight. Those two little white guys in the backcourt are damn good. Porter and Matheny.
Yeah. Cleveland's good too.
Yes, they're undersized, but man, they just make shots and they share the ball. They're hard to keep in front. And Richie McKay and Liberty, what a week! So what a week they
Cleveland didn't have the best game, but I thought he was the best player for them in the Field of 68 thing against Charleston and FAU.
I thought, yeah, and I thought Porter was huge down the stretch. Just some of the big threes that he made. But I mean, you look at the programs that they beat in the last 10 days: Charleston, Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana's not very good this year, but still traditionally a good program. K-State, McNeese, and they should have beat FAU. They blew that game and lost in overtime. So, and they won in Seattle. They won at the Crack House too this year.
Yeah, that's a tough place to get a win too. They kind of sent Seattle on a little bit of a spiral this season. But yeah, I mean that was a triple lock for us on last night's show. Definitely on the wrong side there, in my opinion. I might have lucked my way into a Xavier cover.
Oh yeah,
because they were losing at halftime against South Carolina. But
how many fucking favors did you take and they were losing at the halftime?
I'm not going to complain. Of course, I'm not going to complain.
Whereas luck today.
I'm not going to apologize. I had a horseshoe up my ass, but sometimes some days you're getting it good. Some days you're taking it raw. So yeah, great day for me, and this was one of them. Xavier wins 75-66. And yeah, they'll get my Wolverines in the Fort Myers final on Wednesday. Your thoughts from this one?
That's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to that. Both teams, well, I guess Michigan's not undefeated, but both teams looking for another marquee win. I mean, you give Xavier credit, just like Michigan. South Carolina dropped a bye game. They came in desperate to saying, because when you drop a bye game, you got to get that shit back. You got to go beat a Power 5 either on the road or on the neutral floor. And Virginia Tech and South Carolina both came in back against the wall going, if we can get this one, we can at least neutralize that bye game loss. So I give Xavier a lot of credit for fighting and winning that game in the second half. But Lamont Paris, he had his guys ready to go. That was my whole reason, just like Mike Young. I knew that those guys that have those guys ready, they just ran out of gas and didn't make enough plays because they probably don't have the dudes this year.
Yeah. Xavier had 5 guys in double digits tonight. And the defense has surprised me a little bit this season. Not gonna lie, I thought that might have been the issue for the Muskies, but both games that they've played high major opponents, they've kept their opponent in the 60s. And Wake Forest, at least they've got some really good offensive pieces. They haven't really been great on that side of the floor this season, but that might age pretty well. This South Carolina win, we'll see how that goes. But the big one is Michigan for Xavier on Wednesday. I think both of those programs in general just have a statement to be made, announcing their presence in the national relevancy this season, because I don't think Michigan's done anything yet this season of note, and Xavier is kind of a wait and see, in my opinion, too. But yeah, San Jose State 71, UTEP 65. This was a lock for you. You get the cover here by
outright.
Outright. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, they punched him in the mouth. They were up double digits the whole game. UTEP 8 is a favorite. Take as a dog.
Yeah,
mental notes for myself.
I was on UTEP there, so learning lesson with you as well. Learning lessons. Illinois 92-34 over Little Rock.
Yeah, Little Cock's not very good.
I don't know. I got nothing on that one. Abilene Christian 82-74 victory over Southern Miss. Why was this line 2.5? I should have bet it with you guys.
Shout out to Southern Miss. I'm just gonna keep fading the shit out of them. They're fun to bet against.
Cash cow. Just keep milking
it. they look disinterested. Shout out to Curbelo. The curse lives on.
Yeah. Hastings had little cock team total under on both halves. So cashed for him there. Yeah. And okay. So one of the Maui games here, the third Maui game.
This game,
Iowa State was leading for about 35 minutes, and this was the wrong side. So I'm not going to complain about my lock battle loss. You get the cover as Iowa State loses by 2, and I had Auburn -3. So this was a hell of a game, though. Like Iowa State's fan contingency once again. I don't know why, but it caught me by surprise. Auburn had Auburn had none of that gym. So Iowa State was absolutely rolling. They were up by 18, and this place was a madhouse.
Yeah,
I have no idea how Auburn clawed back into this game.
Iowa State shot the shit out of the ball in the first half. I mean, they made everything, and then they finally cooled off. And dude, Auburn's really fucking good. I mean, them and the Zags 1-2 in terms of what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
To come back against Houston, to come back against Iowa State. Wow. I that's all you could say. And give Iowa State credit. I mean, when you blow an 18-point lead, you go down 5, then you fight back, you get the lead. That's just I hope we get to see them play again, to be honest, is what I came out of that game. And just two well-coached teams, and Auburn's got the magic right now. Like that
They do.
that was Johnny Broome. he's probably the best big in college basketball in terms of production so far this year, and just having big games and big moments. So that's my takeaway from this game. Hopefully we get to see them play again in March.
Yeah, I'm fearing that they may be peaking a little too early, but
hopefully I they're like thought too. Yeah.
Hopefully they're like the UConn of 2 years ago, where they like lost 6 games in conference play. That's what I'm hoping for. An absolute SEC gauntlet. Make them take some lumps, make some readjustments, and then hit March running. That's my hope at this point, because right now they're flying really close to the sun. But I loved this game, and I thought it was a little bit more higher scoring than I originally had kind of handicapped this more as a rock fight or whatever. But the Maui overs are 4-0 to start the season.
I know, that's wild.
So, I mean, it's not too wild. Everybody talks about the soft rims, and we're back in the Lahaina. So
I'm surprised Sparty went over. They couldn't make a shot.
I mean, yeah, 2 for 21 from 3 is brutal. Greensboro wins 71-48 over Long Beach State. Colby was on Long Beach yesterday. Quite a surprise if he faded them again. That would have been a very, very easy cash. But you were the only one on Sparty yesterday.
Yeah.
And then the final game of the night was Dayton, North Carolina, and Dayton had this game too. Yeah. They were up 20, and they pissed away this lead. So Elliot Cadeau is where I want to start on this, because the first half he could not have had a worse half, in my opinion. And North Carolina gets past that. They get past the Jalen Washington, like kind of playing with his head up his ass too, in the first part of that game. But RJ Davis and Seth Trimble combined for 57 points.
It just, fucking Dayton, man. They had a 21-point lead. They made big shot after big shot. Even when they blew the lead, they take the lead back. Malachi Smith makes a big shot. Then they hit the corner three, but his foot's on the line. That game had everything too in it. Yes. Man, I hate that Dayton didn't hold on, but thank God it didn't go to overtime, because I was thinking somehow, some way I could lose Dayton plus 9.5 in overtime. So I'm glad that thing ended when it did, because Carolina was turning into a buzzsaw in the second half. It was kind of a repeat of the first game with Iowa State and Auburn. It just it was two different teams.
Well, second the last 2 games were the same storyline in a way. Like I don't know, one team was leading for 35 minutes and had a huge lead, and the other team came back. There's been some rumblings that this first day of Maui was one of the best ever, and I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because of the large ass leads for 20 minutes of the last 2 games, and also Memphis being up by 15 at one point against UConn, and then blowing that lead to force overtime. The last 5 minutes of all of these games were super, super fun, but I don't think that makes the entire game an absolute classic. Is that too far?
I think you're trying to be contrarian. They were pretty fucking good, man.
I mean, are we? I think we're a little captured in the moment. Because I don't know. During the Iowa State Auburn game, I was like, okay, should I turn this thing off? Like, I didn't want to lose my bet.
I never felt like Auburn. I never felt like Auburn was out of it, just because Auburn is so.
Oh, I thought they were done. I thought they were cooked. That building was ready to blow off. Yeah. But the Dayton contingency was strong too. But North Carolina Dayton was 50-50 loud as fuck for both. That was, in my opinion, that was a much more entertaining watch, because it was loud after a shot. But Iowa State Auburn, I didn't feel that same energy, I guess.
The Auburn fans did wake up in the second half. They had a little bit there, but definitely was favorable to Iowa State. Back to the Iowa State and Auburn game, the flagrant foul on both sides changed the momentum in both of them. Like the flagrant at the beginning of the second half got Auburn going, And then the flagrant at the end got Iowa State going. So, yeah, a couple flagrant fouls.
Did you agree with the
push?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to talk about player safety, you literally can't fucking shove the guy while he's in midair. That's literally defenseless. Like, he could fucking land and break his leg. Like,
play the ball.
They call all this.
Both of them were stupid.
Bullshit where like you hit the guy on the head on accident. That was not on accident. He fucking just shoved him in midair. It's like, what are you doing?
Both of them were stupid. Like,
yeah,
the bat, like free lane to the basket. If you're gonna contest. But both of them pushed the dude. Like, I don't know.
It was so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I mean. I thought I don't know. It was pretty impactful. I agree with you. And yeah, it was a flagrant for sure. I love how some of the storylines were on refs today in the Maui, but it was the most classic Maui. We'll remember the day one forever. But we've got refs that were storylines. I don't know. That's just me. Not trying to. I might be pissing on the fire, and people might be viewing that, but aren't we prisoners of the moment calling this a best day one in memory? I don't know.
It's got to be a candidate just because of the three crazy ass games that we had.
But
give
me a chance to. Yeah, Maui is never a done. It always delivers, in my opinion. Yep. That's why I'm like, you could say this every year and people wouldn't argue you. That's why I am deciding to push back a little bit here. Let's talk about game balls. Very interesting day. You could go a couple of different places. Mac, I'll give you the honor.
Hey, even though I don't think they're very good right now, I still will give it to Memphis just because UConn is the two-time defending champs. So Memphis game ball number one for me.
I think that's a great way to put it, because I just think it was a great matchup for Memphis in that one. And then we'll see. They now get the UConn cupcake draw. They benefit from that. And then they have the inside track at playing the lesser team in the semifinal. Maybe you get to the final and have a little bit of an advantage of the team in the championship. We'll see. For me, I am going to go North Carolina. That was the second largest comeback in program history. 20 points in Maui against Dayton, who had a very good fan base down there as well. That's a solid comeback, and for them to actually get this thing across the finish line, unlike the other night against Kansas, it helps when you play good competition in the non-conference. I don't understand why people don't. So
it definitely does. And my next game ball saying Maui, I got to give it to Auburn. I mean, what the comeback wins over Houston and Iowa State, the Pearl magic is definitely evident right now. This team's old. They brought back a lot from last year, and they have an identity. They're fun to watch.
Yes, they are. I'm going to give my next one to Liberty. A great win over McNeese in one of the better games of the day, for sure.
Oh, we didn't talk about this game. Game ball number 5. Norfolk State goes to UC Davis.
Did I skip that?
Wins by 20 outright after it, and we called for that last night. The ultimate letdown off the Grand Canyon game. Norfolk State game ball. They fucked UC Davis up. Good win, Spartans.
That's a great call. I guess I skipped over that game. My apologies. Yeah, 76-55 victory.
The old win by 17 as a win as a 17-point underdog, and then you're laying 7 points. Too much.
Very fair. Very, very fair. My final game ball is going to go to Southern Indiana. I think we expected them to win this game, but they were still the underdog against Indiana State. In-state rivalry, little brother gets it done. Screaming Eagles. It's been a good transition from them from D2 to D1. Yes, sir. All right. So we've got some picks to get to, but before we do that, before we get to any sort of picks, the college basketball experience is brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie has been running on SGPN, or MyBookie has been running on SGPN for years. Check out their new and improved website, great on mobile, and also they have props for every game in the live dealer casino. Even new early cash out options. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. So, Mac, we have some stupidity.
What happened?
Beginning. No. I'm just calling it stupid. This begins tomorrow, and we have futures on it, so we're going to talk about it. But
oh yeah, it's stupid.
What the fuck is this?
Bullshit.
What is this? Can you tell me what this is? This isn't a bracket.
So, I'll break it down for you. So
I know how it breaks down. I'm just losing brain cells reading this.
Round robin, and then
it's not round robin. They only played 2 of the 3 teams in their pools. So, like, if you look at the impact group, Houston plays Alabama and Notre Dame, but they don't play Rutgers. Rutgers plays Alabama and Notre Dame, but doesn't play Houston. If you look at,
they should have just done round robin.
Well, they originally scheduled it as round robin because they didn't want to award the money as NIL cash prize, but they chose to have a champion as well. So you can't do both. I'm so confused on why they changed their mind, because this was originally 3-team pools and there was going to be no championship at all. They were just going to do a round robin of 3 at the same location. It's just dumb, in my opinion. But we've got betting odds, so we're not going to discriminate. We will attempt to dissect this thing. And I'm pulling them up right now. Forgive me for not having them ready to go. But
why are they playing Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they don't play again until Saturday? What the fuck,
dude? I don't know.
What the fuck is this shit show bracket?
I don't know. So in between, they're doing like events in the community or something like that to earn their NIL, because this thing's like a $1 million prize split community up between the Las Vegas community. Come on, I'm trying to.
Travis, that still doesn't answer the question. I know you said ratings. It still doesn't add up why there's no ratings on Thursday and Friday. Why would you put the games on Saturday against college football?
All right, so Houston's pool play. Houston's pool play, Alabama and Notre Dame. They are the betting favorite to win the championship. They would, if they advance out of the pool, they would play the winner of the power group pool. They're plus 195. Alabama plays Houston and Rutgers. If they advance out of their pool, they play the winner of the power group. They're the next betting favorite at plus 210. Whoever the winner of Houston, Alabama, Vegas likes them to win this thing, obviously. Creighton is next at plus 480. They play San Diego State and Texas A&M, and then they would play the winner of the impact group, which is Houston, Alabama, Rutgers, Notre Dame. Oregon is the 4th betting favorite at 10-1. Oregon plays Texas A&M and then San Diego State, and then the winner of the opposite group. A&M is 10-1 as well. They play Oregon and Creighton, and then would play the winner of the other group if they go 2-0. Rutgers is 14-1. They play Notre Dame and Alabama, and then the winner of the power group. And then Notre Dame is 35-1. They play Rutgers and Houston, and then the winner of the power group. And then San Diego State is the long shot here, also at 35-1. They play Creighton and Oregon, and then the winner of the impact group. Mac, make some sense of all of this. Give out your favorite and then a long shot.
I think Houston is definitely the favorite. Because they're favored against Alabama tomorrow, and I kind of think everybody agrees the winner of Houston and Alabama will have the inside track because they're the two best teams. So I think that provides value on Rutgers because they don't play Houston. And on the other side, A&M and Oregon, or Creighton's coming in banged up. A&M probably is the best team on paper. So I think there's value on San Diego State. So if you want some long shots, San Diego State and Rutgers.
Okay. Rutgers 14-1, San Diego State 35-1.
But I think Houston will win it.
All right. I like the Rutgers shout. They dodge Houston. And I think their style of ball could fuck with Alabama. If they get past Notre Dame, which I love the spot for Rutgers coming off the Kennesaw State loss here, they probably beat Notre Dame. They get Alabama. That's a huge, get up game in that own right. And I think if Rutgers is able to lock down the perimeter against Bama, that they could really fuck with the Crimson Tide and what they want to do offensively. So Rutgers is my long shot, and it comes from that pool with Houston and Bama that everybody is going to want to target. The short shot for me is Houston plus 195, but I don't have a piece of Houston. All I have is Rutgers. I'll be betting Houston game by game here, as they are the odds-on favorites.
Hey, so theoretically, if Houston and Rutgers both go 2-0, who's in the title game?
I don't know. I'll have one of them though.
That's why I'll take Rutgers and San Diego State if they can win their games and find a way to win a tiebreaker and get to the championship.
Yeah, I have no idea what that tiebreaker would be.
They don't either.
Also, also our guy Trevor Vandenbosch Jones in the YouTube chat, having the championship day, as they're calling it, on Saturday is the dumbest move ever because college football Saturday, week 14.
I just said that.
Week.
Yes,
it's so dumb.
What the fuck? Play it on Friday.
Yeah,
fucking dumb fucks. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
Idiot fucking tournament. Stupid ass NIL. Shit ruins everything. Can't even. Don't even get me started.
All right, 118 is where we're beginning.
Now Kansas and Duke. Let's talk about that tournament. They're going to play each other.
Yeah, what tournament?
Blue Blood Classic. Blue Blood Vegas.
It's just a standalone game in Las Vegas, nowhere near either one of their fan bases. All right, so let's get this thing going. Let's pull up some betting odds here, and let's jump into Tuesday's action because it is going to once again being an amazing day of hoops. Game number one. Game number one.
Oh God!
The Chicago State Cougars.
Oh,
they are catching in some spots 16 points against Drexel. You can also find the Dragons minus 14.5. Mac.
I have to take Chicago State.
Do you?
I mean, you're going to lay 16 with Drexel?
Yes.
I'm taking Chicago State. Chicago State should have covered today. I think Radford's better than Drexel. And I like fading teams that collapse in the second half of the first game. They collapsed today. They don't have any momentum coming into this game. Give me Chicago State. Probably will bet it because it's the brunch game. Check the picks page.
Yeah, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. But no, I'm on the Drexel side here. You talking about not being able to bet on somebody that collapsed. Chicago State's collapsed since the first game of the season. They've not kept the game within single digits since November 4th.
So turns tomorrow, baby. Turns tomorrow. What's Drexel? What's the largest spread Drexel? Drexel has not been favored in a game all year.
I mean, really? They weren't favored over Fairfield.
All right. No, they were 1 point dog. They went off as a 1 point dog, so that's a pick.
And they won it outright.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's 17 now. It's 17. We're not talking 7. It's 17.
It's hopefully 17 for a reason. They blow out Chicago State. Here.
Well, hopefully Chicago State doesn't foul down 15. Because I actually thought Chicago State looked all right today. That was a 6 to 8 point game for the majority of the game until they just fouled themselves out of the game.
Pass. Give me Drexel.
I'll bet it. Chicago State. Going back to the well.
Going back to the well.
I told you. Bad beat got out of the way today. They're covering this one. Give me Chicago State. Go back to it.
It's not the Brandon says it's not the Bulls.
I agree. I mean, they're getting a Michael Jordan Bulls lane 16. Get out of here, Drexel.
All right. Let's talk about the next game on the slate here. 11 a.m. start time. Siena and Jacksonville. The Dolphins are minus 7.5. You can get an 8 on the Saints.
I like Jacksonville. I'll lay with Jacksonville.
I do like Jacksonville as well. Siena, I don't know what's up with them, but they've dropped the Albany stinker and then the Miami, Ohio. They lost by 12 to the Redhawks there. I was on Miami, Ohio, but still I don't think that's a great result for them. And Jacksonville, the defense is going to show up. And they were just in an overtime thriller that makes me a little bit weary on advising people to play this. So I would say stay away, but lay the points with Jacksonville. They get on the right side of the
you know what happened to Siena. They never were very good. They just won like 3 overtime crazy games, and they had the McNamara Syracuse magic to start.
I agree. I would agree with that statement, I guess.
Check the pick page. I may end up betting Jacksonville. I trust Mincy on a short turn, and I like fading first-year head coaches on this one-day prep for Siena.
0-6 Duquesne is laying 8 points against Old Dominion. A battle of the winlesses.
God damn it.
Actually, no. Old Dominion has a win over Eastern Shore. My fault.
This is the one.
For who?
Duquesne. They blew that 10-point lead today. They're not going to blow it tomorrow. I'm going back to the well. Give me Duquesne, lock it up. Old Dominion, they played out of their minds today. They're gonna lay down tomorrow.
I'm on the Duquesne side only for that reason, but I ain't betting it. I think you're crazy.
Well, you're gonna bet 2 games, so we know that.
Yesterday I bet 12. I don't know.
No, that's not enough. Volume. This is a betting show.
7 and 5 day yesterday, with a money line call. I mean, that's good enough for me. I'm all right. We've got Tulsa and Detroit doing battle. This one's in Jacksonville, Florida. Tulsa's like 8.5. You can get 9.5 with Detroit.
This line reeks.
It's brutal. Like
I've laid it
so bad.
I've laid it. Dude, what's Tulsa? Tulsa just lost a little.
They're 3-3. They've lost 3 in a row.
3 in a row, and they've lost 3 in a row, or the last 2 by double digits. Detroit's coming in fat and happy. Give me Tulsa here. Lay it. Probably end up betting this one too. It's day games. What else am I gonna do tomorrow?
I like the ball that Detroit's been playing right now under Mark Montgomery. They're playing competitively. Tulsa's gotten blown out in 2 games in a row.
Change the scenery now.
I like the Titans here, and they've been here. They were on a south east coast trip with Wake Forest, and now they just swing a little bit further down and into the Panhandle, and they'll play Jacksonville.
I don't think these teams that have been out here have been playing the best on that first game so far. Like Carolina, they did win, but they started slow. At Carolina, ended up winning, but they were down 20. They just won because they're better and they're North Carolina. I'm on Tulsa. I was just throwing it out there. Well, if you notice the same trend,
I've noticed they've won, but against the spread,
yeah,
I think you covered. I think they were the dog.
Yeah, they were picked. They trailed for 35 minutes of the game. They grinded it out. It was a good win.
Eastern Kentucky plays Southern Illinois, and the Salukis are -4 or 4.5 points you can get for the Colonels. This is another team that has been hanging out in Florida after Southern Illinois played the Gators.
I think I want to lock EKU. EKU, chaotic pace, and Southern Illinois is coming off an overtime heartbreak loss. I think that's a hard turn to play Eastern Kentucky on this quick turn. So I'm going to lock up the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. I think they're going to win it outright.
So to your point, EKU under A.W. Hamilton usually does have like breakneck pace. Okay, so I'm gonna read off. Holy shit! All right, so from 2019, second fastest tempo in the country. 2020, sixth fastest. In 2021, second fastest. 2022, 24th fastest. 2023, 47th fastest. 2024, 103rd. So not super fast. This year, they're 157th, though. The teams they've played, East Tennessee State, Clemson, Chicago State, and Ball State. I know for sure Clemson, they like to slow the pace down. East Tennessee, 260th. Chicago State, they play a little bit fast, but they put up 86 points in that game against Chicago State. And then Ball State, right around the median. What I'm getting at here is that the competition has brought the Colonels down a little bit in the pace. This total is only at 145.5 between these two. I'm going to play the over because EKU wants to play fast. Southern Illinois so far this season has played fast. They are 60th in tempo so far this season. They've given up 85 points, 93 points. They only gave up 44 to North Dakota State. 85 points, 90 points. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to lock up the over 145.5. Thank you for putting me on this angle.
Well, EKU, chaotic pace. You're on the over. I'm on the Colonels.
All right. And for what it's worth, I'm going to take EKU. Brandon saying Mac in his own little world while Noah's going on.
No, I got my phone right here, so I was looking at these lines. I am wide awake, Travis. My contacts become a little dry at 4 a.m. as you're staring at a computer screen for the 18th straight hour today. So cut me a little slack.
All right, I'm that one I'm adding to my list. You put me on a total, which we don't play totals at all on the show. They're 1-0 for the year, for what it's worth, but. Give me 1 second as I write that down. Next game here is Southeastern Louisiana against Gardner-Webb. The Running Bulldogs are -3.5. You can get a +4.5 on the Lions.
Dude, the Big South's been rolling. I kind of want to ride with G Webb here.
I am too. I'm taking the -3.5, and I think they've played the better competition so far this season too.
Yeah, and Sela's off that rivalry win against Monroe, so a little bit of a letdown.
No. They played Wyoming last.
Oh yeah, they were competitive with Wyoming. They beat Monroe, then they played Wyoming. Yeah, give me Webb.
Yeah, I'm taking the -3.5 too. Chat loves Gardner-Webb here. Alfred on Webb. Push is locking it up. Travis Justice says Gardner-Webb. They're 4-0 ATS, he says.
The fringe lock. I'll probably bet it.
They want you to bet it. The chat's
They
all over Webb.
They talked me into it. They talked me into it. I mean, dude, the Big South's been cashing left and right. Outside of High Point. Ironically, High Point's the only one that's not been cashing.
Zoidberg's fading chat. So he's going contrarian there.
With the Lions.
Yeah. Miami, Ohio plays Mercer tomorrow. And this game is in Fort Myers, Florida. The Red Hawks are -3.5. The Bears +4.5 is out there for you if you favor that side.
We got a TCE matchup here. We got Ritter and we got Steele. I think I may go back to Mercer.
I like Miami, Ohio.
I'm not betting this one, though. I don't know. I think this is a one-possession game, so I'm going to take the points, but no bet for me on Mercer. No strong conviction. You can tell in my voice.
I think the Red Hawks have the better defense in this matchup. They've played, Michigan, Wright State, Appalachian State, 3 solid teams on that resume so far. Mercer's played DePaul in South Carolina. They got beat up in both of those games, and defensively, they're 285th. Miami, quite a bit better in most of the defensive metrics. So I'm going to go Red Hawks there. No bet, though. We've got Fordham taking on San Francisco, and I'm locking up the Dons. You can get a 9.5 on San Francisco here, but you can also get an 11.5 on Fordham. I would act quickly here on the Dons. I think that after, letting Clemson pull away late, losing by 15 to the Tigers, they've lost back-to-back games. But Fordham's more of that competition that they've been drilling so far this season. Cal Poly, Long Beach State, Chicago State, all of them they've covered the spread on, besides a hook on the spread against Cal Poly. I'm going to lock up the Dons here.
I was going to say, I think the 9.5s have vanished now. I think you're right, because I think San Fran's been a good bully, like I like to say. And when they've stepped up, they've gotten picked off, except the Boise game that was on their home floor. I'll join you. I think they put it on Fordham. Fordham hasn't shown me a lot, and I think they quit a little bit today. So give me the Dons as a bounce back double lock for us. All right.
There we go. Okay. Hampton is playing High Point. This is one that we were talking about a little bit during the recap show. Hampton's getting 12.5 points against the Panthers here. This was a fringe lock for me because High Point has not looked too great so far this season. Do you think that they dressed this one up in their final game at this MTE? I don't think so, because they already got the win. Like we always talk about, like the 0-2 battles. You need to get the win before you get out of there. They avoided disaster against Old Dominion, and I think they just kind of skate by Hampton here in the Cayman Islands too before they get out of
there. I think I want to lay it with High Point. I think they're gonna open it up, but I don't want to bet High Point at this point, laying these big numbers. But it feels like the right spot. Hampton, third game in 3 days, is a dog. Usually that's when the dog just lays down. I'm thinking of that the Myrtle Beach and Charleston. The dog just in those 7th and 5th place games just laid flat down.
That's why I'm not betting this, but I'm taking the points. I can't lay 12.5 right now, or 11. You can get 11.5 on High Point, but I'm not laying it with the Panthers right now. They've left a don't know. A little bit more to be desired. Let's talk about an Elite Eight rematch from the 2023 NCAA tournament. This is taking place. This is the first game in that Players Era Festival. San Diego State plays Creighton. By the way, they dropped the ball not having Creighton play Oregon. They're having Creighton against Texas A&M, but you needed Creighton to play Oregon in this for that storyline. But they have this storyline at least. The Blue Jays are 3-point favorites off the loss outright to Nebraska as a 10-point favorite. The Aztecs, have they played since that Gonzaga beat them?
They haven't.
No, they haven't. They've had a full week off.
I'm going to lock up San Diego State. They've been good in Vegas over the years. Dutcher, that young team, I think they had a week to get better off that Gonzaga loss, learn from the film. I think that they're going to win the game outright. Creighton's really banged up too. Ashworth is out.
Yeah,
I think without him, they're still trying to find their identity. So I think Creighton once
is
again
he done
banged
for the
up
year?
in the
I missed this
non-con.
news.
He's done for the year? I thought he was just done for like a month.
If that's the case.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I thought it was rough. Like usually you don't see the ankle roll like that, but usually a rolled ankle is 4 weeks. That was my thought.
Yeah. No, I just think I think it's a good matchup for San Diego State. I think they're able to be physical, and they got enough size to somewhat neutralize Kalkbrenner. You're not going to slow him down, or you're not going to stop him, but you can slow him down a little bit. So, Dutcher, and we've seen Creighton over the last couple of years when they're banged up, they're bad in the non-con. So, give me a back-to-back losses for Creighton here. I'll take San Diego State, lock it up.
All right. Travis Justice, we have an app that kind of sorts the best price for you. I'm pulling the number from Circa at -3. That's like one of the more respected books out there. If you want me not to be a Muppet with these exotic lines, as you say, it's 3.5 at DraftKings. So it's
shop around. Yeah. Shop around.
We're not going to cheat ourselves out of a good line here. But yeah, he says the odds aren't real. They're out there.
There you go. Give me Aztecs. Are you taking the or you're just on the Aztecs? No bet.
Yeah, I'm on the Aztecs here. I need to see Creighton play without their point guard. That could be disaster because they don't have great depth to begin with. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Aztecs. I do fully understand that the Aztecs aren't 100% either, but at least they've played a couple of games without a couple of guards here. So, yeah, I'll take the points with the Aztecs in this game. Austin Peay and Georgia State. Mm-hmm. In this matchup, this is in Jacksonville, Florida as well.
Yeah.
Is this a wrong team favored?
Yes, I had this one circled. Austin Peay last game out gave away the game against Moorhead. They've had how many days?
Almost a week.
Yeah, shit.
6 days.
6 days, just like San Diego State to stew on it. Wrong team favored. Give me Austin Peay outright lock.
Yeah, this was a fringe lock for me. I'll tell you on this. Austin Peay +2. Lock it up.
And we're getting the better of the coach. Give me Gibson over Hayes.
Yeah, I believe you. Bethune-Cookman and North Dakota do battle here. This game is taking place in Cancun.
Make the pick for Colby.
Reggie Theus. Actually, shit, I can technically view Colby's picks, I think.
I'm sure he has Bethune.
if he's input them already.
This line stinks. Why is it only 1.5 or 2?
Colby is not put in picks. Oh, well.
We know he's going to be on Bethune.
Yeah, he's on Bethune. Yeah, 1.5 is kind of crazy.
What are we missing here other than it's a neutral?
I don't know. North Dakota's played some really good competition so far, and they have 2 W's against it. That's
they just won at Marymount.
I think it's a little short, and for the people that are betting this game, they're more, I guess, in the weeds. They might be aware of like all the headlines that Bethune-Cookman's transfer portal class got, and is that pulling any of the weight in this one?
I'm puzzled here, man. I feel like I may dive into the stink here and just bet North Dakota.
I'm on the Hawks.
I know they're off the 10-point dog win and they're favored now, but I just think that they're the better team, better coach.
I'm gonna lay the -1.5.
This would be a Courtney Love. This would be diving into Courtney Love if you bet this. Just beware.
Yeah, I'm taking North Dakota.
All right, let's go.
Louisiana Tech plays Richmond here. The Bulldogs off of the, cover yesterday.
Oh, freaking phony ass cover. Ooh,
they play Richmond here. The Spiders are catching 6.5 if you're looking for the best spot. Bulldogs -4.5 on DraftKings. Richmond, for the most part, is around 5 or 5.5 wherever you're looking. But you like Richmond in this spot?
I have not missed a Richmond game all year. I faded them every single game. I actually think that this is a nice spot to buy them because they've been a favorite every game. Now they're a dog. They're hard to prepare for on short prep too, with their funky offense. And Louisiana Tech's off of an overtime game, and I think that they were. Oh, I mean, it's not clear. They were very lucky to win the game today. Give me Mooney outright. I'll lock up Richmond. I like this dog here.
I'm going Louisiana Tech. You can play your music, but I'm on the Bulldogs here. I think this is a short number.
Oh, no. Play this stupid one. Let's go Richmond. Spiders.
We've got UConn and Colorado in the first game at Maui here. Day 2. The Huskies laying 14.5. You can get Colorado at 15.5. This line might not be high enough.
You're gonna lay with UConn?
Hurley off a loss? Yeah.
Are they gonna play better just because he's losing his mind? He's been losing his mind all year.
I was not impressed by Colorado whatsoever today.
I'm going to bet Colorado, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow because everybody's going to run with that narrative that all of a sudden Hurley's going to sprinkle magic wand on this team. They're not close right now. They're going to take a while to get right. UConn wins by 10.
That's the fair play if you're on the Colorado side here, but Michigan State's interior defense isn't that great with Zapala and Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler, but Colorado still got theirs. They got 29 points in the paint or from their front court tonight. And they still got blown out. So I'm on the UConn.
Who's better today, Sparty or UConn?
UConn. Yes.
I mean, I think Sparty's better, to be honest, from what I've seen.
I think UConn was better today against Memphis, 100%.
All right.
They were knocking down some shots.
I'll be betting Colorado tomorrow, but like I said, there's no reason for me to grab 15 when I know I might be able to get 17 because everybody's going to bet UConn thinking that they're going to magically turn it around tomorrow.
UConn lost the game where they shot 47% from 3. Colorado went 4 of 19. Like, sure. So if you want to say and claim shooting regression, there's your angle. But
yeah,
I was more impressed by UConn today.
Okay. To lay 16?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I don't think the number's high enough.
I mean, you just said that they lost a game where they shot 50% from three. Colorado couldn't throw it in the ocean, and they're a shooting team. They're going to make shots. That was by far their worst shooting game of the year.
And I think the UConn defense around the perimeter is going to be pretty well. It was today against Memphis. Memphis had a 30% three-point shooter in his career, hit 7 threes, and he went for like 29 points or whatever Tyrese Hunter did. That was why Memphis won the game. He had a career night.
Like I said, I'll wait for Colorado tomorrow. No reason to bet it right now.
Okay. I'm on UConn. Bryant plays Tennessee State. This game is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So this is part of the Chattanooga MTE. Tennessee State off the loss to the Mocs. And Bryant comes in. This is their first game of the MTE. The line is 8.5. The Bulldogs are laying 8.5.
I think Bryant's going to drill them. I think Tennessee State sucks. And they're on the back-to-back. Bryant, like you said, did Bryant play a D2? No, they played the Bonnies, got drilled. Now they're playing.
Shout out to Eric Hampson playing the show in front of the entire factory. He says the entire factory is listening. So shout out to them working the late night shift along with us, talking some great ball. I'm on the Tennessee State side. I think that's a bit too many points. Bryant at times this season have dropped a few duds. They are coming in as the more fresh team, but I'm not sure that's mattered so far this season. So I'll take the Tigers. And why is Denver favored on the road?
Yes, I saw that line.
They're -1 against Utah Tech, aka Dixie State.
Utah Tech's bad. You're bad. Dixie State's terrible. I am not betting this game. Give me Dixie, though.
I think Utah Tech's been competitive. They only lost by 3 to Montana. Northridge, they lost by 10. But Denver's gotten drilled in both games that they played.
Yeah. This is 3 straight games for 2 shit teams. No bet over here. No bet over here.
I wouldn't want you to bet this.
I can't even give out an angle. And I usually can find an angle that I would like to talk to everybody about. I don't have an angle on this game.
That's my angle. Fade Denver when they're on the road. When they're away from home, fade them.
Who should I
Utah
take?
Tech. Utah Tech's
my beer can. Who am I going to take in this one? I have no idea.
Spin the bottle.
Dixie. He says Dixie State.
All right. Utah Valley and West Georgia are doing battle in Birmingham, Alabama. The Wolverines are -14.5. You can get a 15 with West Georgia too.
West Georgia's been chippy. They've covered a couple times for me.
Your definition of chippy is a little bit different than mine.
Shit, they went to Georgia Southern and they were down like 6 the entire game. They went to Tennessee Tech, lost by 3. They covered at Georgia Tech. South Florida and Troy got away from them.
It's a good way of putting it.
I'll take the points. Utah Valley, they're off a huge win, by the way. At Murray.
Yeah, in general, I think this is too many points for a Utah Valley team. Offensively, sometimes challenged. We'll see how they are this year, though. 89 points against UTEP. They scored 77 against Murray. Both of those teams all right defensively. But I'll take the 15 with West Georgia. I'll give you a chance with the Wolves here. I'm going to lock up this next
What game did you take them with me? You're scarred in your memory. What game did you take them with me?
Troy.
Yeah, you're still biased off of that game. You missed the boat on the next game. They
lost by 19 to USF. They lost by 23 to Georgia Tech, 35 to Mississippi State.
I know why you're like acting like they're not close to covering. Shit, they fucking were in that game against Georgia Southern.
All right, I'm locking this one up. Alfred says it's a toss-up. I don't believe so.
Oh, I thought you said you were locking Utah Valley up. I was like, what?
No. This next game, Clemson is a pick'em against Penn State.
Yeah,
Alfred's saying it's a toss-up. I don't think so. Penn State's schedule so far this season has been nothing like Clemson's. Penn State so far, if my computer can load fast enough, Binghamton, UMBC, St. Francis, they did beat Virginia Tech, Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Fordham. They're 6-0. Credit to them. They've taken care of business. Clemson, on the other hand, USF in San Francisco and Boise State on the road. I think those two games have been better than anything that Penn State's played so far this season. Virginia Tech's nothing, in my opinion. Clemson, they win the game. Lock it up. I'm getting this at a pick 'em. I think it's crazy. Yeah, I'm on the Tigers. Did I sell you, Mac?
You did, and I had Clemson circled. I went against Clemson tonight. I thought that they were going to drop this one, then win the second one, but I'm impressed. They finished the half strong. Penn State, not really that battle tested, like you said. Give me Clemson and Brad Brownell to get this done, and maybe the ACC finally gets like a marquee win. It feels like the ACC has been getting absolutely housed in every game so far in the knock-on. I haven't even been bashing them.
A marquee win, and it's Penn State, who's been
they're undefeated.
One of the worst Big Ten basketball programs this decade.
For what it's
Rhodes
worth,
is doing a great job. They're 6-0. They've taken care of business in every game that they've played so far. You can only beat who's ever on your schedule. You can't control who's on your schedule, though. But I just this is a step up in competition. They haven't played this type of team yet this season, unfortunately. And I think that Clemson wins the game. That's all you're asking them to do. They've been there, they've done that. I think they get it done.
I concur with you, and I just pulled up the preseason odds too. Clemson was 5 points better on a neutral, according to the advanced metrics. I think we've gone too far. With Penn State. I'm with you. Clemson wins.
All right. Jeff Sharp saying I'm too cocky. He's on Penn State now.
Yeah. We tag us.
All right. Let's do Oregon, Texas A&M is the next one in the Players Era Festival here. And this one, we've got three. Okay. What are you doing? What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think everybody in the world is going to be on Texas A&M, which makes me like Oregon. I like Dana Altman as a dog. I think Oregon, we talked about the Civil War letdown. That did not happen today. I think Oregon State's a lot better. I think that win is aging nicely for Oregon. And Buzz, A&M has been inconsistent for me. I mean, they've been so up and down. I know that they tend to get up for the bigger ones here, but I like taking Buzz kind of when he's more in the foxhole spot. Give me Oregon. I think Oregon wins the game outright.
I think Oregon's been a little inconsistent so far this season, too. Overtime with Portland. Blowouts against Troy and Riverside are good W's.
And Montana. Montana's been all right. The Portland game is the only game that they kind of just sleptwalk.
I mean, 5 games in, and one of them they sleptwalk. I would say that's a little inconsistent compared to the way they've played typically under Altman.
A&M.
Texas A&M's loss was on the road at UCF.
Yeah, but I mean, if we want to play the sleepwalk, Texas A&M was losing by double digits to Southern last game.
That's true. A good point. They dressed it up.
Yes, they completely dressed it up.
So you're on Oregon?
I think I'm on Oregon, man. West Coast. It's in Vegas. Albany's had some magic in Vegas over the years. They won the game early last year. Who'd they play? Georgia. We know his Pac-12 record out there. I mean, they won the tournament last year.
And to your point, I'm not sure many A&M faithful are traveling this week. They're going to stay home for this big old game against the Longhorns.
I didn't even think about that. True.
So I don't know about their traveling band, but so I'm going to go against the cocktail napkin here. I think Max swayed me a little bit. Napkin has A&M favored by 5, but I'll take Oregon plus the 3.
Steezy, it's in Vegas. It's not a College Station.
Yeah,
I would have been on A&M if they were only laying 3 in College Station. I got to bet this game. Give me Oregon. Plus 3, 1 possession game.
No.
Break it up.
All right.
It's a 1 possession game.
Murray State and Arlington play each other tomorrow. This game is in Jacksonville as well. Murray State is minus 4.5. You can get 5.5 on Arlington as well.
Arlington doesn't have a Division I win still, right?
Yeah, that's correct. They're 2-3, but
they're competitive as shit.
Missouri State beat them up a little bit, but
what do you think here? You got Murray off the tough loss.
I think it's a little short.
I think
I like the Racers.
I had Arlington circled. Check the picks page.
I love how our ways of viewing short and long lines are different.
Oh,
like,
Oh, yeah.
Long, it tells you to lay it. It tells me to take it. Short, you're like, I'm going to take it. I
like being on the book side. I don't like being on the public side.
All right.
I like now and then I'll dive in and eat some chalk though.
I like Murray State there. Next game here is South Dakota State against Missouri State. This is a really, really fun third place game in this gig here. This is the Cayman Islands, and South Dakota State and a little bit of a heartbreaker. Both of these statements actually a little bit of a heartbreaker. Missouri State off for the overtime loss to BC by 2 points. South Dakota State losing to Boise by 1 point. This is a tough handicap. Third game of the MTE. Shit happens. Which team takes the loss harder?
Who do you think is a better coach?
Henderson.
I agree. Give me South Dakota State. I think I think that in it, Missouri State played the second game of the 2 games, and it went to overtime. So yeah, give me South Dakota State. We'll see. It's early in the day. I may bet this one too. I like betting my Jackrabbits. They've been cashing for me.
Yeah, I'll take the Jackrabbits. I'll do that.
I'm betting all these games. They're all locks. I'm gonna hit 60% tomorrow. 3-2 every window. Let's go.
All right. Writing down one of my locks. That way I don't forget it to play it later. Wyoming plays Tulane.
Sorry, they're asking what the line is. South Dakota State's laying 1.5.
Yeah, my apologies for not saying the line. Wyoming and Tulane play tomorrow. This is in Cancun, and Tulane is favored here. Is this wrong team favored? Tulane minus 1.5. You can get 2.5 on Wyoming at BetMGM.
I was joking about Denver, the other one. This one I have no idea. I like fading both teams when they hit the road. Now they're both on a neutral site in Mexico.
Isn't this got some sneaky elevation to it?
No, not Cancun. Give me Wyoming. I guess they're going to be happy to be out of Wyoming, Laramie for a little bit. I mean, you got a 4-1 team taking on a 4-2 teams. I guess technically they're a little bit underrated. Actually, Mason swayed me. Tulane just lost as an 18-point favorite at home to New Orleans. Give me a bounce back spot, but I'm not betting Tulane out of New Orleans.
All right.
You got a side on that?
I think the wrong team's favorite. I think Wyoming wins the game.
Wyoming.
That's my hunch. I'm going to stick to it. NJIT in Cleveland State is I out there for a game. NJIT is on the road. This is a true home game for the Vikings here, and they're laying 12.5 points against the Highlanders.
Give me NJIT. I mean, Cleveland State's like 13?
Kind of crazy.
That's the last time they laid 13.
Probably the Dennis Gates era.
Yeah. I'll be on NJIT.
I think that's a whole lot of points, but I also think that NJIT is not very good, so I'm going to lay the points.
That is true.
Memphis and Michigan State.
Here we go.
Holy smell. You can get either one of these teams catching points here. If offshore is more of your thing, if you're not in a legal state for betting, BetUS has Memphis at +1.5. But FanDuel and most everybody else has Michigan State +1.5. Courtney Love is in.
You're not feeling so good about that future anymore.
No. This is the total Penny Hardaway chokes it away game. I am like all the way there. Tom Izzo versus Penny Hardaway on one day of prep. This is where Izzo exceeds in the second game of the weekend in the NCAA tournament. And also, like I mentioned, Memphis just had a matchup that I really liked against UConn. That same matchup is present with Michigan State. Michigan State's interior is the weakest part of this team. Their centers are not physical. They can't rebound. They are deeper than UConn, for what it's worth, in the front court. So foul trouble is not really going to affect them. But the coaching angle is just like 7 points of a difference here.
So also Memphis is off an overtime game. So that was another thing with my UConn thing. They're off an overtime game, back to back. And Memphis is also off a hard game at San Francisco before they got out to Maui. So it's two hard competitive games in a row here. Now you got to play Sparty, who just wants to make it a football game. And Sparty, can you shoot 30% from three, 33% from three?
No, they can't. On the season, I think they're 20%.
Hey, if Memphis and if Penny
362nd in the country, 20% from three.
And I'm going to say this about a game later. If Penny and Memphis beat me on a back-to-back when I got Tom Izzo, I'll tip my cap. I'm locking up Sparty. I tip my cap if you beat me. Sparty's winning tomorrow. They're going to the title game on Wednesday.
I have the 30-1 Memphis ticket. I don't need action on this game. I'm not going to take it.
That Izzo is going to crumble it for you. Dude, your daddy.
Michigan State +1.5 is certainly alarming in this spot. I'm going to stick with the Memphis pick. I 100%. This team's just an NBA style team. They're going to spread you out and they're going to drive. Michigan State, I don't think, is a team that's built to defend that very well in the interior. Izzo's probably going to have something cooked up. That's my fear. I'm taking Memphis. Let's move on.
We got to see who the referees are, because if they're going to let him play, definitely favors Izzo. Because Izzo will make that shit a fucking football game, and then those Memphis boys will not like that physicality.
Mark Pope is only laying 21.5 points in some of the spots, 23 in others, right around the 22.5 area. It's against Western Kentucky, though. Is it the little brother, or does Mark Pope continue to take all these mid-majors in the non-conference and treat them like grass? Just run a lawnmower right over them.
This is by far the best one that they've played at home. Who's Kentucky got next?
Is it?
I
really like Lipscomb this year.
Well, Western beat Lipscomb. It was at home. I think Western's the best. What was the line against Lipscomb? Just out of curiosity.
16, 17.
No, it was 21. I'm on Western. I think I like Hank Plona. They're old. They're veteran. This is a kind of game Western Kentucky will pop up for, and I think Kentucky will win by 10 to 15. Let's go. I'll dive back into it. Let's go, Big Blue Nation. Bring it on.
I've learned my lesson fading Kentucky 2 games in a row.
You're only as good as your last game.
I'm taking the Wildcats.
They're going to be leading at halftime, and then Kentucky will blow it up in the second half.
They find a way to win this game by 30. Is my prediction.
This is going to be Winthrop, Louisville from the other day.
All right. Radford plays Purdue Fort Wayne.
Good game.
Macedons are laying 8.5 points. This is in Daytona Beach. Your thoughts?
Fort Wayne is the better team, clearly. I mean, they're laying 8 points. Yes. They were impressive in the second half, blowing it open. But I think Radford, I like what I've seen from Radford when they don't play bye games. I think I'm going to bet Radford in the championship game. I think we're going to get a one possession tight game. I think Radford's athletes can muck it up a little bit against Fort Wayne's skill guys. But man, Fort Wayne can light it up.
I'm on Fort Wayne here. I've been more impressed with what they've done. Their only losses are against UCF and Penn State. Both of them they covered. And then they've drilled, competition they should drill. And then Drexel was like the first game that they played that was kind of like competition on their level. And they battled and they pulled away in the second half. I've been slightly more impressed by Purdue Fort Wayne, so that's my pick there. Georgetown hosts Wagner, and the Hoya faithful will complain that nobody's at this game, but you're playing Wagner. The Hoyas are laying 12.5. You can also find a 14 on the Seahawks here.
What a god awful game! Give me Wagner. Fuck Georgetown. They suck.
I am on Georgetown. I don't know why, but I just trust Georgetown to be able to score a little bit on Wagner. Wagner's not going to put up so many points in this game. They've averaged around like 50 points per game. Georgetown's got to score 65.
The Seton Hall games in the back of your mind?
No, I mean 45 against St. John's, 52 against Rutgers. They won a game against BU and they only scored 60. They've averaged around 50 points per game. Georgetown's got to score 65 in this one.
I won't be betting this game, so.
Yeah, neither am I. VMI.
I was like, you're crazy.
VMI plays Loyola, Maryland. This is a interesting game. VMI is catching 8 points. You can also find a -6.5 if you want to be on the Greyhound for some reason, laying that many points. This is a home game for the Greyhound here. Your thoughts?
Kind of reeks a little bit. I think I'm going to lay it with Loyola, Maryland. I think the line's telling. Leffler's a good coach, too. I think they're getting better under him.
I mean, this is another one of these games where VMI loves to shoot the three ball.
Mm-hmm.
They can play themselves into it, or they can play themselves out of it. It's either a blowout or a win outright, in my opinion.
Hey, and VMI's already surpassed their win total from last year.
I saw that.
Let's go, VMI.
Truly Donovan put out that graphic, and Cal Poly's not quite there to their win total from last year, but I'm still much more impressed by Cal Poly than any of those four teams that were on the graphic. VMI, I think they win it outright.
All right. I took Loyola. I'm going to lay it. I think they have better athletes. Wear them down.
I have no conviction in that pick, But VMI either wins or they lose by 20 is my actual prediction there. St. Peter's minus 8.5 against Fairleigh Dickinson. This game is fire.
Is this a rivalry?
No, it's just the
They
two.
play every year.
It's the two Cinderellas from two of the past 3 years. Peacocks minus 8.5. What are you doing here?
I think I'm going to take the points with Dickinson. Home team. They lose by 5.
Yeah, I mean, FDU's numbers, their power ratings have been absolutely destroyed by the competition that they played. Miami, Creighton, Nebraska. They did lose by 14 to Army. That'll do it to you too. St. Peter's hasn't given up as many points in those games, and the defense have kept them in those bye games. But for what it's worth, I don't think they have the offense to really pull away at any point against a team that's of similar competition. So I think just slightly too many points here for the Knights. I'll take them to cover. Lehigh plays St. Francis, PA, a nice little in-state regional battle here. Lehigh is -3. You can also find a 4 if you're on the St. Francis side.
I had this one circled as a home dog too. I'm going to take the points. I'm not willing to trust Lehigh laying points yet on the road. No bet.
All right. It is also St. Francis's first D1 home game of the season. So I kind of am on the same side with you. Different ways to get there, but yes, red flag.
St. Francis won outright last year as a 15-point underdog at Lehigh. Fun fact.
All right. That is a good fact. So this one stinks a little bit to me. Grand Canyon is favored over Stanford, -1.
This game's in Cali, everybody.
Yeah, Palm Springs, California.
Stanford opened as a favorite.
Smells a little bit.
Flipped. I'm going to fade the line movement. I'm going to lock up Stanford.
I'm not locking this, but
I am. I thought they got their dud of the game out of the way the other night. They should have lost to Santa Clara, but they battled back. I think they play better here against Grand Canyon. And I think Grand Canyon getting too much credit still based off of preseason reputation. So give me the tree huggers here. Tree hug it up, baby. Al Smith.
I'm on the Cardinal side too. Cocktail Napkin has Stanford -3. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. I kind of agree with you. I think people that were early into this market are valuing Grand Canyon just a little bit too much to their preseason expectations versus what they've actually done. They were a team that was completely not competitive against Arizona State just a week ago. So I think Stanford's better than Arizona State. How about that tuck job for you? So give me the +1. Coppin State is catching 30 against St. Joe's after St. Joe's just played Texas and Texas Tech. This is like an obvious letdown game.
Yeah, give me the points.
Is Coppin good enough to keep it within 30?
No. but you have to take them. I'm not laying 30 with fucking St. Joe's.
Oh, I want to bet it.
Check the picks page. I may bet it tomorrow.
They only lost by 30 to Miami. George Mason covered this number. UMBC actually no, slightly did not cover. They covered this number against Virginia, but that's Virginia. Covered against Rider. They didn't cover against High Point. They covered against Wake Forest. I think that's 2 and 5, 3 and 5, 3 and 4. Sorry, all over the place. 3 and 4 against this number so far this season for Coppin. It's brutal because this spot's amazing for just an absolute tomato can. Excellent scheduling by Billy Lang. Just veteran move. I'm taking the points, but I don't think
I'm with you. I'm taking the points too.
I wanted to talk myself into lock, but no, I can't. Manhattan plays Virginia.
Lock.
On who?
Manhattan.
Plus 17.
Yes. Virginia can't score.
They just went 0-2 in the Bahamas.
Yeah, and they'll come back and they'll take it out on Manhattan and win 58-44.
Take it out on Manhattan.
They'll take it out on them. That's their version of take it out. They're terrible.
Yeah, this is another one of my angles where just Virginia's not good enough to score this many points, but I'm not betting this.
They couldn't even beat Coppin by 7, or they beat Coppin by 17. Coppin.
Yeah. Zoidberg got a kick out of the 58-44 score prediction there.
It's going to be the exact score. Watch.
North Dakota State's getting 11.5 points against Samford. You can also find a 10.5 on the Buckyball if you want it. This game is in Birmingham, so the home game for Samford here.
Yeah, I have North Dakota State circled here. Samford has gone through a little bit of a gauntlet here. They played at Sparty. They played at North Alabama, at Cornell.
Week off, though.
Yeah, I like what I've seen from North Dakota State outside of one game.
They beat Minnesota Crookston 67-60.
When was that
game? Their last game. It was Thursday. They also have basically a week off. 5 days.
I like that they have time to prepare for Buckyball. I'm going to lock up the Bison here. They've won at Santa Clara. They should have won at Bakersfield. Illinois State got away from them. The Saluki game was bad, but that was their last showing on the road. Give me the Bison here.
I still think Samford's overvalued in the market compared to like they were last year. But I don't think North Dakota State's good enough for me to pull the trigger here. I'll take the points, but I don't want any action in this.
Give me them Bison.
Boise State plays Boston College, and I'm going to lock up the Broncos -8.
Double lock. We're going to fade the overtime here. Overtime game, Boston College. Lucky to get here, and I think Boise State got the scare out of them yesterday. I think they win by double digits. Another quality win over the ACC for Boise.
Yeah, I think they're the much, much better team here.
And older. That line is telling, by the way. Laying 8.5 against an ACC school. Boise.
Boise beat Clemson by 13. They were home, but ACC and BC is like
bottom.
They're not near the middle. They're not even close to the middle of my power rankings in the ACC. Plenty of value going against the name brand in BC there. Western Illinois against South Bama.
Ugh.
The Jaguars are -10.5 here at home against the Leathernecks.
Leathernecks had a night off? Or did they play somebody else?
They haven't played yet.
I'll take the Leathernecks.
I'm going to take the -10.5 with South Bama. They haven't beat a team by this number all season, and I think that's kind of telling.
They did it last night, though. That was the other thing. It was telling last night that they were laying that number, and they drilled the team. So I have no conviction on this, so no bet.
Incarnate word. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's talk about the game of the day. Houston, Alabama. Or one of the games of the day. It's an absolute fire slate. But the Cougars are -3.5. You can get 4.5 on Alabama, but most books are kind of in between. with the line at 4. What are you doing here?
Cougars, defense over offense. I think they have the athletes. They can switch stuff to run Alabama off the line. I think they control the tempo. And I think that they're still pissed off from that Auburn game. They gave that game away. They've been taking it out on anybody that's been in sight. Kelvin does this every time they lose a game. They just drill teams for like 5-6 games. And I think Bama's still a little bit preseason hype. So, yeah, I'm locking up the Cougars of Houston here.
All right. For what it's worth, Cocktail Napkins got Houston -7. I'm telling you. Let's double lock this.
Rise and shout, the Cougs are out. H-Town beatdown in Vegas.
Is that their war chant or whatever?
I think it's BYU's. I stole it.
Okay.
Both the Cougars.
All right. Upstate heads into Carver to play Iowa, and the Hawkeyes are -28.
Lay it.
Yep. They typically drill these teams. They haven't, kind of like Iowa State for some reason this year, but Upstate has not proved anything to me so far this season. 31-point loss to NC State. I think a 19-point loss to Virginia Tech's kind of telling. 24-point loss to Queens. I think Iowa gets it done. They cover this by a little bit tomorrow. Loyola Marymount plays Belmont tomorrow. The Bruins are laying 2.
Is this game in Nashville?
No, it's in Cancun.
It's in Cancun. Give me Loyola Marymount here. I think they're off that home loss. I think they bounce back here. I think we got a hell of a game here. Number's a little short in my opinion. So give me Marymount.
That was the reason I was taking Belmont. I think it's a little short. I think they're the better team right now. UTEP plays Long Beach. UTEP's laying points again, Mac.
Yeah,
7. 7 points.
I'll lay it, no bet. Long Beach is on auto fade right now for me.
I think this is the time where you take Long Beach State.
Don't tell me you're betting this.
No, a team more on their level here. I don't think they get drilled. I think it's competitive. They probably still lose this. I like UTEP a little bit better than the Dirtbags this season. So give me UTEP to win, Long Beach to keep it within 2 possessions. I'm locking North Alabama against Eastern Michigan tomorrow. The Lumberjacks are -2 against the Eagles. The Eagles were in an absolute dogfight. What?
I said North Arizona, not North Alabama.
Oh, I said North Alabama?
Yeah, you meant North Arizona.
Yeah, I'm locking Northern Arizona tomorrow. Sorry. They're -2 against Eastern Michigan, and Eastern Michigan was in a dogfight against Houston Christian. Northern Arizona coming in here fresh. I'm going to take the MAC angle. Give me the fresh team over a team that was in a dogfight, and I'm just not impressed with Eastern Michigan this year.
I think I'll join you here. I like Northern Arizona. I think they've been solid. Winners of 3 in a row here. I think they get it done over the EMU guys that I think are counterfeit. Let's go.
Cocktail Napkin has it -5.
Yep. Double lock.
All right. Fullerton against Pepperdine. The Titans are catching 4 against the Waves. This is crazy.
Give me the points. Give me the points.
I think I'm also taking the points here. Why is Pepperdine laying points? Northwestern, they lost by 18. They lost by 21 to UNLV. They lost by 18 to Irvine. They lost by 18 to San Diego. Fullerton, on the other hand, has been competitive. But like Max said, they've kind of costed people in the last 2 minutes for anybody backing them. 10-point loss to Grand Canyon. They did get blown out by Stanford, Colorado, and Oregon State. but they beat Idaho State and then got blown out by UCLA. So against the spread, they've been the more competitive team than Pepperdine.
Yep.
So yeah, right, I'm on the Titans here.
Who we got next?
The Valley. They continue their Utah road trip. This time, Salt Lake City. They're getting 42 points.
Lay it. They're talking too much.
Talking too much. I'm going to take the points with Valley.
Okay.
Not betting it. All right. Another Vegas game here. Duke and Kansas. Duke is -3.
Yeah, I think the wrong team's favored. Hey, you're giving me the best coach in the game against John Shire on a neutral floor, getting 3 points. Duke, if you beat me, I tip my cap. I'm on Kansas. I'm on the experience. I think DeJuan Harris controls the game. I think that's where Kansas wins it. I think their backcourt's better. A little worried about Dickinson against her size, but I think the backcourt and the experience of Kansas gets it done. And Bill Self is really good against Duke in North Carolina. He's won 4 out of 5 against Duke. That was Coach K, not John Shire. He's dominated North Carolina. He gets up. He's using that chip on the shoulder. He can play the dog role for a change here. So yeah, give me the Jayhawks lock outright.
I'm on Duke. I'm going to lay the 3 points with Duke. They're not your typical Blue Devils team. I've said this before. They are much more physical than any Duke team I've seen in the last decade. And I think Malawach is going to be a little bit of an issue for Dickinson. A guy Dickinson's size, and Dickinson not the toughest guy, and you know that. He's a little soft, a little bit more of a finesse big man. He likes his hook shot, and I don't think it's going to be there. I think Malawach is going to be all up in his shit and make Kansas shoot it. That's the one kind of question. Can the role players step up and make their shots? I'm going to take Duke.
I like that they have guys. They have a couple guys that can throw a flag too. AJ Adams, I think they could throw at flag. He's a big body. He's athletic, physical. He's experienced, and a couple guys coming off the bench. So yeah, looking forward to this game. Bill Self all day gets it done.
I'm excited to see whose flaws are showcased more in this game because Duke, I'm not sure they have a point guard. In Kansas, I need to see it more out of their role players because their best players right now aren't shooters. It's DeJuan Harris and Hunter Dickinson. You can throw KJ Adams into there too. He's one of the returnees, but he's not really a 3-point shooter either. Their pieces have flaws, and I'm just kind of interested who's able to scheme this up better. And if you're going coaching battle, I think Bill Self has the advantage there. But
no shit.
I think Duke's physicality is the difference in this game.
Okay.
So we've got Abilene Christian against Montana State on deck. This is in Bozeman. Montana State had a day off. I like Montana State.
What did you say this number was?
4.5 for Montana State.
I like Abilene as a dog here. I think their toughness one possession game.
I like Montana State. SMU and Cal Baptist play. This number's 10.
Yeah.
Where is this game at?
It's in California. It's on a neutral though.
Yeah, Palm Springs. So SoCal. Not too far of a trip for Baptist. But do they travel? I don't think they're going to have as lit of an environment as they typically do for a natural or for a true home game. And also Andy Enfield going back to maybe a place of residency if he still didn't sell it yet. Give me SMU.
Yeah,
off the loss against Mississippi State.
I'm going to take Cal Baptist. I think that they've found something the last game against T-Dub when they opened it up. So I'll take the 10 here.
All right.
Interesting line.
Southern Utah against UCLA. This number is 22. UCLA has been drilling these teams this year. That's not typical of Mick Cronin teams. I'm going to lay the points.
I think I'm going to lay it too. I think this is a 6-1 team coming. Mick will have them ready to go. Lay it.
Santa Barbara is minus 12. Eastern Washington.
E-Dub is a fringe lock for me, Munson.
Yeah, this is a true road game. I was looking to see where the location was here. Yeah, at UCSB. But I think you can even get a 12.5 on E-Dub. Barbara's defense really concerns me. I've said it a couple of times so far this season. It's reared its ugly head a couple of times. So give me the Gauchos. Give me the Eagles. I think they cover the large number there. Does this game stink to you? Cal Poly -5 against Grambling.
You think Cal Poly should be favored more?
Yes. Are they receiving any respect?
They have not been favored in a game yet. I usually like to fade the team that is favored for the first time ever. They're not like they're heading into a game where they're expected to win rather than they're going to snake up on somebody. I'm on
Grambling's 5th straight road game, and they have a home game next.
Yeah, I still like Grambling. They're battle tested.
I'm taking Cal Poly. I think this number is pretty short.
I mean, what do you think they should be favored by?
8.
I was thinking that they'd be favored by like 2.5.
That's actually the cocktail number for what it's worth.
The cocktail napkin, having a nice little cocktail.
Rutgers and Notre Dame do battle in Vegas. Rutgers is only -2. Coming off the Kennesaw State loss, I think they're going to be pretty pissed.
Now Notre Dame is off of Elon, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This is an interesting game.
They're both catching reasonable hype this season in the Big Ten and the ACC. I'm a little higher on Notre Dame as a team, but Rutgers has the better pieces. Who would you take in the coaching matchup here?
I think it's a toss-up. I think they're both very similar. They're both defensive guys. They grind it out. But I think Shrewsbury's more comfortable with this team.
Shrews is more of an offensive guy, I think.
Yeah, but they defend too, though. They defend. Like, he was the defensive guy for the Celtics. I like Penn. Or sorry, I almost said Penn State. I like Notre Dame, where Shrewsbury was out before that. I think that his team is a little bit farther along. I think Rutgers is still trying to find their identity with all these freshmen. So yeah, give me the Irish here.
Calvin Bruce asks, who's more likely to let loose in Vegas? The answer is Rutgers. But they've got days in between, like Wednesday to Friday. Fuck around, do whatever you want. But let's play some basketball.
Like
hopefully.
The chat really likes Rutgers, it looks like.
I think a lot of people. I have Rutgers 14-1 to win this. So no, I don't.
Notre Dame beat them.
Yeah, I don't need to play this, but I didn't think of Notre Dame off the Elon. For some reason, I only thought of Rutgers losing to Kennesaw State. I'm still going to go with my gut. I still think that Rutgers gets it done. They get it done by more than possession, and they're only laying 2. San Jose State against Greensboro. Greensboro is laying 4.5 points.
Greensboro look good tonight. Give me Greensboro. San Jose's off the big. Actually, no. Give me San Jose State. Tim Miles' team getting a little bit better. This tournament is what they needed.
I like Greensboro tomorrow.
Okay.
They played in a blowout game tonight. You pull some of the starters. I think it's an advantage in these types of tournaments. Same thing you were talking about with Michigan State. Furman in Seattle. This game, you can find either team as a favorite right now. So we'll just call this a pick 'em. FanDuel has Seattle catching points. Furman is catching points on BetMGM for what it's worth. Great game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Furman.
This is in Las Vegas.
I know. That's why I think I'm going to take Furman.
Fade Seattle outside of the crack house.
Yeah,
I like Furman too.
If the game was in, the crack house, I'd be all over Seattle here. Tough spot, but Furman better coached. Bob Ritchie's doing a hell of a job. I think Furman gets it done.
I'm going to lock it.
I'll join you.
All right.
This one's a little square, but yeah, I'll lock it.
Catching points. I'm going to take Furman.
This one flips to the zero, just like what's it called?
I mean, you can still get either team at plus.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's flipped through zero the entire market.
I'm faded these line moves, man. Slide moves all day.
Fresno State and Washington State play tomorrow. Washington State's minus 14. This game is in Palm Springs.
Yeah, give me Fresno. It's in Cali.
I like Wazoo. I'm going to lay the points with Wazoo. All right. We've given. Yeah, we're missing the two Maui games. I'm going to refresh.
I got it.
You got both?
All right, Iowa State's laying 7.5 against Dayton.
Both of these teams blew gigantic leads today. This is a really interesting game, and both of these teams brought a good band of fans with them.
Iowa State's going to beat them by double digits. Iowa State's better than Dayton. Dayton played out of their minds. Iowa State played well, but I think Iowa State can play at that level consistently. This reminds me of the Houston game last year in Charleston where Dayton just didn't have the toughness to stand up for 40 minutes on a back-to-back. I'm going to lay with Iowa State, and I will bet them as well.
I'm taking Dayton.
Okay.
Dayton plays really well in Maui. They play really well when they take these trips. I kind of want Dayton just first half if I end up betting this.
Yeah.
That's where I would think that if what you're pointing out, Dayton talent level, they might fall off, and I think that probably happens in the second half. I'm not gonna play it. You can play this solo with Iowa State.
You and my clones run it back. They covered for me tonight. They should have won outright, but I'll take the cover. Yeah, let's cover again.
All right.
Dayton covered for me too.
What's the final game of the night?
Auburn, Carolina. Auburn is laying 4.5. I'm gonna bet this game just because it's the best game of the night. So
that's short. What I will say is,
you think it's short against Carolina?
Yes. What I will say is North Carolina's got the bigger fan base that traveled with them than Auburn, so they could build some momentum in this game. But both of these teams had a huge comeback in yesterday's game. Auburn 18 points, North Carolina 20. I like Auburn. I think they get this done, and if this line indicates that it's going to be a close game, I trust Auburn at the charity stripe to get it done.
I think Auburn's going to win by 5, though. That's the whole thing. I think I think I like Auburn here. Pearl's another guy, kind of who was I just talking about? Like, he's good against the Blue Bloods. He gets up, he does a good job of rallying his team back against the wall, us against the world, even though he's a 4.5-point favorite. He knows how to twist it. I think Auburn blows it open, wins by double digits. The more and more I think about it, I think they just have a different gear. Carolina's still trying to find themselves. I mean, they were down 22 to Dayton. As much as I love Dayton,
they're not the first time this season either. They were down 20 to Kansas too.
Yeah, I think we're going to get an Auburn Sparty title game.
But Auburn has the ability to start slow too. They were trailing for most of the Houston game, trailing for most of the Iowa State game.
Yeah. Let's go Auburn.
I think the difference in this game is in the front court. Somebody mentioned it in the chat. It was Mason saying North Carolina doesn't have the big men stop Broom. I think that's the case.
This is where they missed Baycott, this game right here.
Yeah. I'm on Auburn. I'm not betting this though. I learned my lesson with Iowa State too. I thought that line was a little bit short in favor of Iowa. I thought Auburn should have been a little bit of a bigger favorite, and it came right down to the wire. And Auburn was losing that game by 18 at one point. So I'm going to stay away. I think North Carolina can build some momentum. They've got a good fan base out there. So that's my pick for there. I'm gonna lay the points, but I don't love it. Let's talk best bets, Mac. Do you have yours ready?
Yeah, give me Iowa State in that Dream Crusher spot for Dayton. I mean, to have North Carolina beat like that, I think that's a crusher for them tomorrow. As good as their fan base traveled, so did Iowa State. Houston was my other one. I love the matchup against Alabama. Physicality versus finesse. Alabama's still trying to find themselves from an identity standpoint. And my third one, let's go with do I want to go Boise? I think Boise is my third. I think Boise blows out Boston College. Boston College
that's a good play.
Yeah,
they were a fringe top 3 for me, but I removed it actually for the total that you talked me into, and I did a little bit of a deeper dive. My favorite pick of the day is Clemson. I think they win the game against Penn State. I think it's criminal that's a pick 'em. So Clemson number 1. Eastern Kentucky, Southern Illinois over 145.5. The second total play this season on the college experience. Over 145.5. Southern Illinois has played pretty fast this season. Eastern Kentucky, usually breakneck pace, but their opponents have kept them from running up and down the floor so far this season. And I think that one goes over. And then Northern Arizona -2 against Eastern Michigan. They come in with a day off, and the Eagles were in a dogfight against Houston Christian today, which is not very good. So give me the Lumberjacks there. That's going to wrap up the show. This is the second latest show the college basketball experience has ever gone. This is 5:12 a.m. Eastern time right now. We did one last year. We did one last year with Troy and Rush as well on a Saturday night that ended at 6 a.m. But this is up there for sure. We appreciate all you guys for staying with us. We've got 600 live watching across all platforms, 250 here on YouTube at 5:12 a.m. to be exact. Joey Jackson, you guys all rock allowing us to have this type of platform to be able to talk college basketball and pick games and bullshit and do this as a job at 5 a.m. I will wake up at 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow during the middle of the first Maui game like I did today. Mac, I don't know when you're waking up, I'm not. Tonight's an all-nighter.
Kids these days. I'm gonna go up there and make some coffee and start my work day. I'll just get the shit out of the way so I can stop early and just watch basketball early afternoon and on, and then we'll do it all again tomorrow night.
When are you picking your spot to nap? That's the question. Tomorrow's loaded.
I'm just gonna power through it tomorrow. I'll sleep tomorrow night. Just because I'm off on Wednesday to head it into the Thanksgiving weekend. So I got 5 days to rest. I'll be good.
All right, everybody. I would expect a little bit after midnight start time tomorrow. We'll go based off of what the late night game in Maui is taking.
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
That's Auburn and Carolina tip at
11. But
11. So after that,
today it tipped at 11:30. But I would be open to start early if there's some type of blowout and it's not a very entertaining game. But I would prepare for a little bit around 1 o'clock a.m. This has been the college basketball experience. If you're looking to follow my friend here, Ryan McIntyre, you can do so at moneyline_ Noah B77 _ on Twitter. The normal host of the show, Colby Dant. First off, check out the college football picks show that we just did for rivalry week. Week 14 picks on every single game this week. They are out now. And he's on Twitter at the Colby D. You can view all of his picks at our picks page at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/college basketball picks. If you're looking to follow the show on Twitter at TCE on SGPN, this has been the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.